massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much. Hello, good evening, and welcome to each and every one of you. And you guys said that I would screw up the sound. Well, we got quite a lot of you in here tonight. I see you're there, Jesse102. If you wanted to jump in, and no, guys, I haven't made a mistake. I left the camera off deliberately just to wind you up. Yeah. Anyway, hope you're all right. I hope you're as excited about this as I was, and I hope you're as surprised as I hoped you'd be. Had to be done. I was past details of it a little while back. People saying, hey, why don't you suggest Nathan Oakley goes on there? Why don't you suggest, Nathan Thompson? Why don't you suggest Nathan somebody goes on there? What a flipping waste that would be if they managed to get on there. What a waste. I learnt a lesson a long while back with a job I was doing. I have to be careful what I'm saying. There was the opportunity for a member of staff to do something pretty amazing and pretty unique, and everyone was saying, oh yeah, that's brilliant, I'm going to do that. I'll put my name down for that, because it's something that happened several times a year, but only one person could do it at a time. So I think it's about 10-12 people could do it in a year. Yeah, so many people saying, yeah, definitely, I want to do that. Well, I actually got off my ass and did it. I put my name down and I applied for this thing and I got on it. And then afterwards, everyone's, oh, wow, that's fantastic. Oh, I wish I could have done that. Well, did you apply? No, I didn't apply. I'll do it sometime, though. So, yeah, I saw this dear moon. Why not? It's an incredibly generous thing that that guy's doing, Mr. Maezawa. He's bought either 8 or 10 tickets. I presume he gets a little bit of a discount, but he's bought all those tickets for the flight that's going, it's next year, due to be next year, looping around the moon and back again, although I believe it's actually looping quite a distance past, because whoever's on that will actually go further, I believe, than the Apollo 11 astronauts, greater distance from the Earth. So it's pretty special, and he's giving the tickets away. He gets to choose, obviously, and for a short period, he opened it up to anyone to apply who considers themselves creative. Well, there you go, creative. Say no more, creative. So I went for it. Put my name down, and okay, 1 or 2 other people did as well. Last I heard, somewhat over 100,000. But I'm in there. And I'll just say, I just had a super chat from Mr. Now Opinion. Good evening now, for 59 of his finest and highly polished Swedish krona. Thank you, Now, saying, I remember making a video saying, is Mr. Sensible going to space? And then feeling stupid for asking a question. I remember that video. That was with Little Miss Now, wasn't it? The reaction video to my major announcement. I love that video now. I have watched it several times since, and I hope Little Miss Now's okay. Please say hi. So thanks for the super chat. Yeah, that was funny at the time. So am I going to space now? It's yet to be decided. But I can tell you one thing. I am that little bit closer to going to space and looping around the moon than each and every person who didn't bother to apply. So, as I said, I consider myself now to be a stage 1 astronaut training program. So, even if I get no further, I've got that far. So, I consider I'm now a part of something special, something unique. Should be good fun. Good fun. Well, you've got to be in it to win, it says Jez of the Mars Review. Absolutely. Absolutely, you're right there. I don't want to miss that. Thank you very much from Mike. Super chat for €5. Not saying anything at all. Thank you, Mike. That's very kind. So if I don't get in on Mr. Meizawa's and I have to actually purchase my own ticket at $55 million, I'm that little bit closer now. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I wonder if I could claim it against tax. If they'd knock $55 million worth off my tax bill. I need an accountant. Watto said that as well, in it to win it. Marek, good evening. Super chatted 5 Polish zlotys. Thank you very much, Marek. Have I asked Mrs. Sensible? Well, I think the only thing Mrs. Sensible was worried about was, is it a return ticket? I'm kidding you not. That's what she said. Are you coming back again? Is it a return? What's this? Bob Nodell. Gary Ibenga was wondering when you'd raise your ugly mug. I don't know what that's about. Never mind. I hope there's not big arguments in here. And Turtle, absolutely right. I'll be the furthest away anyone could possibly get from the flat earthers. Of course, and I promise you this, if when we get up there, I find myself casting my gaze across a beautiful stationary plain earth, NASA better pay me damn well to keep my mouth shut. Damn well. Otherwise, I'm spilling the beans. Definitely. I wonder how much they're paying me. Have a guess who's in chat. Well, if it's Gary, hello, Gary. You know the rules. If you're entitled to your own opinions, that's absolutely fine. And I'm not aiming this at you, Gary, but the rules on my channel is that flat earthers and other people are perfectly welcome to express their views. I just have no hate speech, no bullying or anything like that. If this is a bit more towards you, Gary, no copy pasta by people, but keep to that, and I would like your comments to stay. Right now, I invited during the premiere Mr. Seek Truth, Speak Truth. So I'll give him a 30-second warning because he's just turned up in the green room. Well, actually, it's the same colour as the others, but just call it green, you know. I don't know why. Why do they call it? Arnold's here, you know, but he's fast asleep. He's a good lad. Good lad. So he's had long enough, so let's drag him in here. Good evening, Mr. Seek Truth, Speak Truth, and what's more, I'm even going to remember to switch on my desktop audio. How are you, sir? He's muted himself. Hello, Mr. Seek Truth, Speak Truth. Have I got a nice little cuttlefish for you? God, you can't get the guests nowadays, can you? Well, I'll leave him sat in there till he wakes up. Oh, he's run away again. Oh, he's unmiked. Hopefully everything's okay. Let me just try again. I'll give him a few seconds. Or maybe he just didn't want to come on live. It's a bit scary, isn't it? No, Gary, I'm not saying you did copy paste anything. And I'm not saying you said anything hate speech or bullying anyone, Gary. I'm not saying that at all, okay? It was just that was a general thing to everyone, okay? Because I would rather that people of other views, including yourself, follow those rules and get to mix and mingle with the good fine folk of this channel, okay? He's nailed to his perch. Yes, Q's got it. Thank you, Q. Have I got a nice little cuttlefish for you? Hello, Polly. Right, Seek Truth. Before we go all Python-esque, let's try you again. Oh, and if you don't, there's someone else there as well, who's coming in a second. Hello, Seek Truth. Are you ready to go?
Hello, mate.
Are you all right?
Yes, yep. Hopefully you can... I was on the dark side of the moon, shall we say, so I had no signal. But yes.
Yeah, not to worry, not to worry. Hello, good evening, and welcome to you. And
Thank you.
I'm going to bring someone else in as well. to join you. Hello, Jessica.
Hey.
So, good evening to you too, Jessica. I can't remember your number. Is it 10 space 2 or 20 space
10-2.
33 or something like that?
It's 10-2 basically.
And I got Seek Truth, Speak Truth. I don't know if the two of you have met. Seek Truth.
I'm aware of Jesse. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That was probably on this stream, to be honest.
It may
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I'll just leave you guys to it, and I'll clear off. How are you both?
Really good, thanks, mate. Yeah, really good. You excited to be one step closer to the moon?
Definitely. I am a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Like I said, last I heard, and the only figure I heard was at one point over 100,000 people had applied, and I think there's 8 tickets. So, I mean, there's a lot of them are going to feel a bit let down and downhearted, and they're chasing my tail for a ticket. There you go.
True.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Seek, I wanted to say something to you. You were on what was it? Fight the stupidity, not the right. Stupid flat Earth. Fight the flat Earth thing.
Yeah. Stupidity is not right. Yeah.
That's the one. That one as well. Yeah. Guess who wasn't on there? Me.
You.
Yeah. Guess who thought he was on there? Me. Guess who even put out a community post about it? Me. They cocked up and they said, yeah, you're on that date. They even sent me a link about an hour before.
Oh.
And then I went to it. Hold on, it's listed Seek Truth. I can't remember who else it was, Seek. And I'm not there. So I emailed.
Yeah, I was quite shocked.
I emailed what's her name, and she got back to me and said, I don't think you're on this week. So I don't know quite what happened.
I think they got our hairstyles muddled up, I think.
Could be.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate style for debunking.
Yes,
that definitely. Oh, right. Actually, FE peer review made a good point. I've got a much better chance of going to the moon now than of winning the lottery. Yes.
That's true.
Yeah. Do you know what I do when they're going to have our national lottery, Jessica, and they sort of say on the TV, and here's the results of the lottery or whatever, I quickly, and this is true, write down 6 numbers and see if I would have won.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, if you would have won...
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and if you would have won the lottery, you probably will go to the moon.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you saying that it's a good idea, because when I started doing it, Mrs. S said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm writing down the number." She said, "Well, what if you win?" Well, I know never to buy a ticket because I won't win twice, won't I? So I'll save money. And every time so far, I haven't won. So every time I've saved £1 or 2. So it's a what's the word? It's a sound strategy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, they get you with the you've got to be in it to win it, but you're very highly unlikely never going to win. They're obviously making money, and actually the lottery does actually do a lot, I think, for communities and things, but they obviously make a fair buck along the way, don't they?
Well, yeah. But if you're not in it, then you're definitely not going to win it. And if I do go to the moon, I'll do a lot as well. I will. I'll buy someone a meal or something. I find someone buying a meal. Okay, so that should help swing it. Oh man!
Is the proposed thing? Is it just a fly around the moon, or is it
it's about
moon landing?
It basically, he bought these tickets I think 2 years ago, and his intent was to take 8 creative people with him. But then a couple months ago, I mean, I presume he thought of it before that, but a couple months ago he announced that he was going to open it wider to anybody who does something creative. Because he says, basically, if you think you're doing something creative, you're a creator. So he opened it to anyone around the world. And then, of course, that they'll pick and choose, of course. There's quite a few stages. I've already got the initial assessment documentation or email, but I haven't even looked at it yet because I didn't want to be on a downer when I look at this show, start this show, and it's oh no, you got to have 17 degrees in flirtology, and I haven't got that. I can't. So right now, I'm fully confident that nothing currently is standing in my way. Well, apart from 999,000 other people or whatever it is. But never mind. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. But that picture I showed at the end of the stream, that was the confirmation ticket. I didn't make that. That's what comes, you have to supply a photo, and that's what came from the initial application. Yay!
Oh, okay. That's so cool.
That's cool.
Wow, it's fun, isn't it? But I wonder if any flat earthers applied. Do you know what? I'm going to go up in Mr. Musk's rocket with someone else paying, because then there's no worries about Nathan Thompson running off with the money, and I'm going up there and I can take a photo of our fine flat earth, and that will show them. But
I mean, that would kind of be a really good revenge. So hey, if I don't win, then I fuck the trip for all of you up by sending, I don't know, Nathan Oakley with you.
Oh no. Oh, that would be bad, wouldn't it?
The ultimate revenge.
Well, yeah. I could be tempted to shove him out an airlock where the sun doesn't shine.
I mean, I have now a pretty good connection with Nathan Thompson at the moment, so if you're interested, I can do something.
A good connection. Do you know what, Jessica? I daren't even ask. Is that what you
He's
were
in
talking?
my DMs.
I was going to say, is that what, without going into it now, is that what you were talking about in your channel earlier on when I made that comment?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. So it was him who was saying about that, or you think he? Sorry, this is all getting cryptic for everyone else. You better leave that. But yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
No worries. Yeah, it was weird, and he's really nice. So we have a conversation. He's trying to challenge some of my views, but he's really nice. No insults. He made the compliment about me, which is completely weird. Thinking about it's Nathan Thompson, so. Well, I don't know what's happening.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised you get compliments, but from him, I'd be worried that it's quite stalker. I'd be very, very careful with him. I wouldn't give him any personal information.
No, you're not the first one who said that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. I was prepared for insults and stupid stuff he says all the time, and nothing. He's just asking about some things, and yeah, he's just nice. It's weird. It's a normal conversation.
Well, I would hate to say this because I do believe in equality, Jessica. I honestly do. But you could probably use this to your advantage to get him to agree to some silly stuff, or get him onto a
what are you
discussion.
Doing? What do you think what I'm doing at the moment? I'm trying to get him to a debate on my channel.
So you're using you're using tactics then. There you go,
Sure.
Seek. You can't trust them, can you? You just can't trust them.
Oh no.
Oh, good for you.
I mean, I know he tries to get something out of talking to me. I mean, he wouldn't be nice if he didn't think he could use something or could get something out of me.
Yeah.
He probably wants somewhere to stay in Germany for his next flat
Earth tour. Godless Scum has just super chatted £5. Thank you, Godless. Saying Nathan Thompson could make history by being the first person to hand out flat Earth leaflets on the moon. That's fine. That's fine. I'll pay for the printing of the leaflets. He'll have to fund his own spacesuit, though. Shove him out. Go on, you deliver him. Who's he going to deliver him to?
But I don't think, I mean, if Nathan Thompson would be standing on the moon, it would still not have real intelligent life on it. Or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
That's
definitely.
very true. Yeah.
Do you know, someone said to me the other day, they said Mars is the only planet that we know of right now that is fully populated by robots, which is true.
Yeah.
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 That's amazing.
I also had someone say in someone's comments that Mars isn't a globe. I said, well, get a telescope and look at it. You can see it. I mean, just like with this, with this moon behind me, that's lunar libration. Has it actually stopped, or is it still moving? Yeah, it's still moving. But with Mars, over a period of time, you can see it rotate. Same with the sun. I've had people say the sun's a flat disk, but you can see the sunspots go across it at different speeds depending on their latitude and come round a number of days later.
Yeah. And obviously, if the sun was a flat disk, it would sort of change shape in our sky, wouldn't it? If it was going further away.
I mean, I've heard that the moon is a flat disk like a salad bowl. And yes, he said flat disk like salad bowl.
Okay. All right, so he's talking about bowl shape. Well, I mean, I suppose, so we're looking inside the bowl, are we? Or on the outside of the bowl? Okay.
But it's also transparent, like a hologram.
I'll come back to that. But talking about it being like a bowl, let's say you got a bowl with those craters and seas painted on the inside. Okay, that's cool. But as you can see from that moon behind me with the libration, during the period of the month, it tilts so that we can see a little bit round the left, a little bit round the right. I think we can see about 53% of the surface. If that was a bowl, that edge would be a fixed edge. You wouldn't see past it. There wouldn't be anything to see. We busted that one.
Of course.
And
but
the
I mean,
would work differently as well, I suppose, wouldn't they?
They would have to, wouldn't they? You get a shadow. You get a shadow of the edge of the bowl, wouldn't you? You get a shadow of the edge of the bowl. Or is that supposed to be the shadow going across the moon, because the shadow's bent the wrong way then, isn't it?
Maybe you look on the outside of the salad bowl.
Maybe they're just talking crap.
Is it God salad in that bowl?
Word salad.
Probably.
Another classic is obviously the moon is just a reflection of the Earth on the firmament.
Who was talking? Yeah, someone. I don't know if you saw my one minute debunk show, Seek.
I did.
Yeah, did you see someone did that on there? I do apologise, I forget who it was. Talked about a creator who was who's got this theory about the craters and the seas and that on the moon being reflections of the continents of the Earth. And there's more of those because there's actually a lot more continents across this humongous flat Earth that we're not previously been aware of.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff. God. Yeah, I a long time ago I did a video. This girl believed that the moon was a projection, but the projector's behind it. It's projecting onto a screen, so in effect we're seeing it through the screen. Yeah, but I got about halfway through this video and I thought, do you know what? It's not just a weird idea. It's not a stupid idea. It's not her trying to trick people. I genuinely thought, you're ill. I think this lady had... No, I'm serious. Yeah. I thought she had mental health problems. So what I did was... I mean, I'd been very gentle on the debunk anyway, but I pretty much petered out then and said to people, look, I think that's what it is. So I didn't give the name of the channel. I didn't link it to protect her. And I treat it as a, look, this is a problem,
Yeah, I think there are certain people you can look at them like that. I think you should look mostly at people like that, if you know what I mean. But obviously, like we're talking about the Oakleys and the Thompsons, they're putting themselves out there for the asking for it, really, aren't they? If you know what I mean, by their actions, the way they treat people, and if you know what I mean, you more or less treat people how they treat you, I suppose, don't you? If you know what I mean. So it doesn't really matter if someone's got a crazy view or opinion. If they've been respectful to you, it's only fair to be respectful back, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's why I find some debunking a little bit difficult, if you know what I mean, because sometimes I just don't like that dramatisation, if you know what I mean, and I just think, it's I'm actually making them double down further, if you know what I mean.
Yes. It can be difficult. I'll just say a shout out, FE Peer Review, who's in the chat saying, me. It was him who did the 1 minute debunk of the Cosmos Plasma move. Thank you, FE. Oh, by the way,
Mr. Legend.
Yeah, I'm releasing on Thursday, a back-to-back video, or video of back-to-back 1 minute of all the 1 minute debunks with links to all the channels again. So anyone can watch that without all my waffly crap in between. Okay, that'll be out on Thursday. Yeah, so thanks again.
They were great though, weren't they? Just how creative and imaginative, our subscribers are. Some of them obviously have channels. Some of them don't even really create anything, and then suddenly they'll.
Well, it's one guy. One guy's not on YouTube at all. One guy's not on YouTube at all.
What was the wave thing was great, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just? The tsunami, I've forgotten the guy's name. Apologies. I mean, that's another slam dunk proof, isn't it?
Yeah. I love those ones, and to me, like, those are the sort of things that flat earthers should be looking into, if you know what I mean, because it's, you can contact someone in these countries and find out when did the wave hit, what direction was it coming from, and do you know what I mean? You can verify these things if you want to. That's
the difference, though, Seek, between someone who may be mistaken but is genuine and genuinely wants to know the answers and is open to learning, not be funny, such as yourself. And that's the difference between someone like you and someone like Oakley. Well, actually, Oakley knows damn well that he's wrong, and he's lying for the money. Definitely. Oh, Godless Girl, super chat for £5. Thank you again, Godless. Saying, just seen a problem with my last idea. Nathan would refuse to wear a spacesuit on the moon. He feels it's a violation of his rights. Well, as long as it hasn't got a mask. Well, yeah, maybe just have one of those masks. That'll do, wouldn't it, Nathan? Yeah. If
you would tell him it's a spy mask, he would do it.
Well, that's possible. Well, anyway, why is he worried about it? Because it's a fundy space sky vacuum, isn't it? It doesn't exist. It's atmosphere all the way up, apparently. And, okay, it goes down to about 1% at the height Mage 2 went to, but that's just reasons. We can ignore that. What is he like?
They'd be like, I know I was drugged on the way up here. I'm just in some studio in America.
Yeah, those windows are CGI.
Rip the helmet off and suddenly like, oh my God.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Death is imminent.
Government, all CGI.
Well,
oh God.
I was playing a very short... Oakley sort of does a stream and then releases a 45-minute section of it a couple of times, and then a couple of 2 or 3 minute sections. I was playing one of those about Coriolis recently, and Mrs. S overheard, and she recognises his voice. It's hard not to, but she said, "Why the hell?" She literally just said, because I'm just listening to it quietly. She says, "Why the hell does that guy have to be so damn nasty?" And she's absolutely right. There's no call for it at all. It's despicable. Yeah, he's mentioned again about Coriolis, and I've said a couple of times I had thoughts about how I was going to demonstrate Coriolis. I've sorted it, and it's just a case of shooting a video. What I'm going to do is do a short video aimed at Nathan, so he definitely sees it, and then I'll release my Coriolis explanation as one of... I've got 2 short videos which can be used by anyone, just with a credit, that show something. Well, one of them was refraction, lifting something up beyond the horizon. That's that little experiment I did with a ball, and I actually can't remember what the other video was, but a few people have used it. They can use the video in their videos, in debates, or whatever they want. So I'm doing a short demonstration explanation of Coriolis that anyone can use. Fight's used my Horizon one before several times. Jez of the Master Reviewer says we should petition Elon Musk to send Oakley and Thompson into orbit and see the results. I've got a better idea. You sit them under the rocket and just toast them. Why waste all that propellant getting them up there? Get someone up there who wants to go up there and just turn them to dust. That's my plan. What do you reckon?
I think I missed it. I don't know if it was on my end or...
Yeah, I think you broke up a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, then it wasn't just on my end.
I was thinking it was me, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, looking at my OBS, everything looks all right, but sorry about that. No, I was just saying that instead of sending Oakley and Thompson up into space, I reckon you just shove them under the rocket and turn them into dust.
Yeah.
And send someone up there who actually wants to go and would appreciate going up there.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson, he sort of said, a lot of flat earthers, like, they're lying because they want to be the first on the ships that take them to space, but that's not at all. They would refuse to even go. Who was it recently?
It would challenge their views. I mean, if there's a chance, they had to admit that they're wrong, because I don't think they really want anything to do with truth. They
Yeah.
want to feel special. They want to feel, I know the truth and no one else does. And I think that is more important than anything else
Yeah.
in most of their mindsets, at least. Not everyone, for sure.
Well, I mean, look at Bob Nodell with the 15 degrees per hour.
Yeah.
I mean, he then came back and said, "Oh, perhaps it's heavenly energies. Let's try something else. Cover it up in a Faraday cage
Yeah.
or whatever." But since then, has anyone really heard him do much? I haven't. I mean, the only thing we hear of him is, "Thanks, Bob." Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
But what we found
I
is,
suppose
is
obviously-
when we
Oh,
turned
there
on
he
that
is.
gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift. A 15-degree
I mean,
per
his
hour
last
drift.
name is Nodell. It's Knödel in
Knödel.
German. It means dumpling.
Bob Dumpling. I like that. Oh, man. Oh, can you translate other flat earthers' names for us? I believe that...
When they have a German origin, probably.
Okay. Yeah, it must be some others. What's this?
yeah. I mean, I'd love to know. Say with Nodell. I mean, to me, he to me is one of these guys where I think maybe he knows we live on a globe.
What do you think?
I mean.
Do you think he learnt that as part of that, or do you think he knew before?
I think he knew before. This is obviously my opinion.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, just the way, because he was caught saying something that went on the documentary, didn't it? When he was like, "Oh, you know, this will be."
I did hear something about that. I can't remember.
It'll be terrible for the flat Earth movement or whatever, if they can't work out how to cover it up or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that it's top secret, that he said it in trust to this other person and didn't knew it would be aired out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two things. One, the snark. Thank you very much. Super chat €2 saying we want Arnold. Well, Arnold is there. He is there, but he's absolutely fast asleep. It'd be heartless to wake. Actually, he got himself an injury. I think he jumped from somewhere a bit high, and so he's walking with a bit of a limp. He's got a bit better over the past few days, but since he's asleep, sometimes I've picked him up to show him on camera, but I don't want to disturb him right now. If he gets up, I'll get him on camera. And the other thing is, Jessica, Vrimfondel asked a couple of times. I did notice it earlier, Vrim. Asked to ask you to tell us about your game made by Flurfs. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Okay, so the game is called Flatlander. You can download it for free. I'm not sponsored. I just think it's a cool idea. And it's made by German debunkers to mock German flat earthers. So every person you see in the game, the flat earthers are based on German flat earthers. So I made a video a few weeks ago about the guy Peter Vegan und Lecker. He is the chef in the game, in the village, for example. So they're all there. And you have to go around and scream flat earth phrases like, water always seeks its level and the horizon is flat. And with that, you kill the globe trolls and reptile people.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to fight NASA. You have to blow up the globe in the city with dynamite, for example. And it's completely based on flat earth myths. And it's absolutely amazing.
So just wondering, do German flat earthers say the same phrases like water seeks its own level and stuff like that?
Yeah, they most of the time use videos from Eric Dubay, Nathan Oakley, and they basically translate it. They put a little twist on it. There are conspiracy theories more specific to German.
Oh, yeah.
Flat earthers.
What sort of things then? Is it that our flat earthers haven't picked up on these?
Are there many sort of conspiracy theorists in Germany then? I remember, obviously everywhere's going to have its own level, I suppose, but I remember hearing that Germany specifically was quite low with people that are into sort of conspiracy beliefs and things. I'm not, well, obviously maybe you could
enlighten us.
Know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, before COVID happened, I think they were pretty low, the conspiracy theorists in Germany. We have them, but they're maybe not as loud, for example, could be a reason too. But we have this myth in Germany when you talk to people, hey, do you know about flat earthers or conspiracy theorists in general? They only would respond with, yeah, it's the homeschooled rednecks in America. Yeah, but it is. That's the way we Germans try to deny that there are stupid people among us.
The rockety.
And when I told them, no, we have them in Germany too, they get pretty shocked that there are.
Well, it's pretty shocking that there's any of them anywhere, really, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. But thanks to COVID-19, we have more than ever. And we have one that is now immersed to, he's now a refugee basically in Turkey. He's one of our big patriots. He's now a full-blown Nazi and all in the conspiracy with Bill Gates stuff. And he left the country because he searched with a police warrant.
Oh.
Arrest warrant.
He's not been doing a Nathan Thompson, has he?
No.
Flat smacking school kids. Flo Riders just super chatted €2 saying Antarctica Haunebescheiben. Is that any good?
Get that?
You didn't get that? What the
Antarctica Haunebescheiben.
Haunebescheiben. Bescheiben. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll score myself 8 on that.
Yeah, I think they're referring to the UFO I was flying in the last part, which I totally sucked at it. The controls are horrible. That's my reason to not admit that I suck at video gaming. But yeah, you have to fly there with a UFO from the 1930s or something. It's pretty cool. It's brought to flat Earth by aliens. So.
Oh, PhD Tony. Hello,
cool.
PhD Tony. Just super chatted $5 Australian, saying terrific panel. Greetings to you all. And Tony, I did see earlier on.
Tony.
It is Jessica on there, yeah, and Seek Truth, Speak Truth with me as well.
Oh, PhD Tony's a legend.
Yeah, I can't think. Is his haircut as good as ours, though, Seek? I'm not sure.
He's getting there.
He's
getting there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Katz is trying as well. Creaky,
I do have a PhD. I just don't tell anyone. No, really, I'm only joking. Oh, Christ! Would never have become a flat earther if I was.
No. Well, there's that guy I debunked recently, Darius Savage, who thinks he's got a PhD in maths and physics from Yale Law at the same time. Did you see that then, Seek?
I haven't seen that one.
No, well, he's a nasty piece of work. He really is. Because I did a gentle, it's a typical Mr. Sensible. Yeah, I took the mickey out of him. It was gentle. It was nothing really nasty. But this guy basically said that 7 and 3 does not equal 10. Because if you have 7, okay, if you take 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 4 numbers. So that's 4 more.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I've done the video, and the next thing he's doing, he's doing a hate speech video about me, which has been taken down. It just had the most disgusting description, and it was just my entire video made all blurry after about 2 seconds. So you could see it was me to start with a paragraph of highly sexually abusive text on it. And of course, YouTube took it down. He's now done another saying that he has the right to defend himself, according to stand your ground law. Well, that's in the States. If I was bashing my way in his house or whatever, yeah, he could stand his ground and kill me. But I did a YouTube video which took the mickey out of an idiot. I don't think you're allowed to kill someone for that, really. But he's a nasty piece of work. Oh, I've had a super chat. Super chat, don't want to miss that, from Mark Wagner. Good evening, Mark, for $10 US. Should my name be... right, I think he's asking you, Jessica. It's Wagner. Should his name be pronounced Wagner or Wagner?
I would say Wagner.
Yeah. Which is what I did until he told me off. He told me off dreadfully. Yeah. Yeah, because it's of Russian,
probably,
German roots, isn't it?
I think there is a difference in where you are in Germany. Because I am Swabian, we would say Wagner.
Wagner.
And yeah, basically it's almost an O vowel.
Yeah.
But more in the north, it would be almost an A at the end.
Wagner.
So it's depending. Yeah,
You
Wagner
can't make
or Wagner.
So what chance the rest of us stand if you can't even make your own minds up, eh? You can't decide and between yourselves how to say it. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
German
Then
is not
the
German.
English way of saying that isn't very romantic, really, is it? Or poetic? Just Wagner.
Wagner. Well, you see,
Wagner.
Seek, I called him Wagner when I first saw it. Yeah, so I got closer, but yeah, it's anglicised now. The name's my name is anglicised from its Hungarian original, but partly because when I tell English people how it should be pronounced, they can't pronounce it. So there we go. I live with it.
I would have thought sensible was English origin.
Well, hey, Jessica, what's I mean, I could look it up in a dictionary, but what's German for sensible?
Sensibel.
Oh, I thought it'd be something amazing. So hair sensible, hair sensible, yeah.
Yeah.
What's Mister?
Hair.
Herr.
How sensible.
Yeah. Very good.
No hair. Sensible.
I can always boot you off my stream, Seek.
I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. Don't worry. High testosterone, that's what I always tell them.
Well, yeah. It's actually a solar panel for a sex machine. But I mean, see, if you, and you as well, Jessica, if we put ourselves out here on YouTube like this, especially if we're not just doing videos, but we're doing videos against what someone else is saying, we're going to get blowback, aren't we? You got to live with it. Have you guys?
It.
Oh, sorry, I thought you lost me again. Yeah, you're going to get people arguing back against you, being rude, and so on. And if you can't, if you can't take that while you're doing it, really. But for me, there's
absolutely.
a line.
I think my problem is not the comments from the flat earthers and conspiracy theorists. I get at some points weird comments, at times very sexual comments from my subscribers, and that's where I still have to learn how to handle it.
I'm still
because with the hate, it's no worry.
Well,
I can do it if you want.
Jessica, I'm being honest here. I mean, I and Seek on our channels, and you do as well, show our faces. Okay, many other channels don't.
Absolutely.
Many other channels don't. So that has risks and benefits. The benefits are, I think, is people can engage with you more. But then on the other hand, you're giving people some sort of ammunition either against you or. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bloody weirdos out there, Jessica. The majority, I think the majority on the internet tend to be men. I know I'm painting a broad brush, and you get a lot of that sort of person who is going to try and think it's right and appropriate, and hey, I can get away with it by making comments that they wouldn't dare make to your face.
Absolutely. That's why I'm working at this moment on a video about this weird sense of sexism that people just think that, oh, that's just men. No, it's not just men. When we teach boys that we don't do these things, that wouldn't be a thing. And there's a broader problem, because I don't have a problem with those particular people. Most of the time I tell them, hey, I think it's not cool. It's pretty disrespectful because this, and that. And they're totally fine with it. Okay. And we go on.
Yeah, I suppose if you challenge it when it's inappropriate and they I'm sorry, Jessica, I meant well, I went too far, then I suppose that, it's not ideal, but it's fair enough. But if they
sometimes I suppose it. No, sorry, mate.
I was just going to say, but if they carry on once they've been told or warned or whatever, kick him in the nuts and kick him off your channel. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, and I can respect that when I tell the person, hey, I don't like that because of this, and they respect it. That's okay. I mean, the whole reason we are doing what we're doing on the internet is to tell people, hey, that's not okay. That is the right thing. And we want them to change. When we can't respect the people changing their minds and understanding what I explained to them, what's the whole point of making those videos about conspiracy theories? So I think the respect of the people that change their minds on even those things should be a given.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I was saying, you've put your face out there, so I'm afraid, and it shouldn't be the case, but I'm afraid you're going to get a lot more of that than you know what I mean, is fair or you deserve. You're just going to have to be tough and deal with them, aren't you? I mean, it's not right. Definitely not right. Just before we go on any further, I've had another super chat from Flowrider for €5 saying, not trying to be a smart ass, but Mr. Sensible in German would be Herr Vernünftig. It also has number.
The Snark also sent me a message because you could translate sensible into different ways, basically.
Oh, okay.
So you can vernünftig or sinnvoll is also a translation. Sinful.
Yeah. I like that.
I think, now you pronounce it in English. Now I know why you mean sinful is.
Sorry, what was I going to say? Because I mean, you've had those comments. I mean, I don't. You haven't told me, and I'm not asking what those comments are. I can only imagine. I've had different sort of attacks. One was a doxing type threats. They didn't actually say I'm going to dox them, but it was a case of I caught this person in the side chat saying, "Does anyone know anything about him?" There was. He said so and so had a history with children. I expect it's the same with Mr. Sensible. Do you know what I mean? It was terrible. So with that, I reported it to the police. And the other one was disableist hate speech. I mean, people can guess the creator. I'm not going to mention it now because it's done and dusted. And I'm not disabled, but they kept using a disableist term, and they used it in my chat, and I asked them not to. Asked them. They used it again. I removed it and said, please don't do it again. They used it again, and I banned them. But then they produced several videos with it at the beginning of their video, and so I reported it to the police. And they had the police go round. So there's a real word.
It shouldn't be a thing to weaponize problems of other people.
No, and you being female is not a problem, but it shouldn't be a thing that you being a female can be weaponized, and it shouldn't be a thing that can be weaponized and used against you, or the fact that you're female can be used to abuse you. And what these people seem to forget is, very funny, you've said something rude and sexual to some lady on the internet. What they're forgetting is there's a real person at the other end. They don't know how that's affecting you. They don't know your past. They don't know anything really about you.
You're cut off again.
Oh, I don't know why. Everything's looking okay.
You're back.
I'm back. Everything. I haven't disturbed anything. I haven't touched anything. I was just saying, Jessica, that they shouldn't be using the fact that you're a female against you. They shouldn't be taking advantage of the fact that you're a female to think that they can make comments, rude comments, sexual comments, or whatever, without any sort of comeback. What they're forgetting is, although to them it might be a bit of a joke or not be funny, a bit leery, there's a real person at the other end, you, and they have no idea what you think about that, whether you can just laugh it off, whether you take it to heart and get upset, whether you've got some past that makes those comments dreadfully hurtful. They have no idea. So don't put up with
and it's also at times really disrespectful for my boyfriend. At times those comments can be not just directed at me, but also at him. And at times I get this often that people try to get me to create an OnlyFans account because, hey, you would earn more money. Hey, you would get more clicks if you would have shown just a little bit more. And all of that. And I mean, I don't get the idea that people look at my channel, look at my videos and think, yeah, she probably wants to ruin all what she's doing. I mean, if I wanted to do that, fine, totally. There's so many women that do this. They make good amount of money and they should do it if they want to. But just because I'm a woman and just because I'm on the internet doesn't mean that I want to sell certain parts of my body.
No.
And I get that at times from my subscribers, from my supporters, and that's where I have the problem at times.
Yeah,
So it's
From
that's sort of
the idiots, it's
problems of the modern world, really, isn't it? That, if you know what I mean, like where people go online and they just kind of expect things like that, you know, and it's from just someone that hasn't given any inkling that they would even do anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous.
It must feel a little more odd that
No.
if some stranger appeared on your channel, Jessica, and asked you to do X, Y, or Z, that can be upsetting and so on. But if it's someone who's a patron, a regular subscriber, a long-term follower, who then starts, because you'd hope that they would have got to know you, you know, at least your internet persona, what you've done, you know, in your videos, what your views are, and so on, and would just take it as that. But to be following you for a while and then start making comments like that, that's, a bit hurtful, really.
And there is, because I can draw the line from people that just want to hurt me, that I can block out because I know what they want and that's no problem. But with the subscribers, you have kind of a different relationship. You feel a different way when they give you feedback about your videos and content and stuff. And when one or two subscribers of you every now and then, hey, do you have an OnlyFans? Hey, good that while you did your makeup, you didn't film yourself while putting on your lipstick because that's so sexy. I mean, come on. When I read a comment, I don't want to go shower afterwards because I feel, ugh.
Yeah.
And there is a problem. What I think about, it's not that the person means it in a malicious way. I think the problem is, and I had that in school even, that when I was 13 years old, 12 years old, I wasn't allowed to wear certain clothes in school because the teacher said it could distract the boys. So we as women are always responsible for the boys' arousal feelings. You know what I mean? It's always, it's the boys. We, as women, we should be responsible. We should shut it down. Women should dress modest because the boys can't handle themselves. And that is the wrong way. If we teach boys and men that, hey, you are responsible for your own emotions. If you can't handle watching at a woman, then don't look at her. That's it. And I think there is the problem, because most of the men have those things in when they grow up. As I said, in school even, my teachers told us girls we're not allowed to wear skirts, we're not allowed to wear those tops with the spaghetti straps, because the boys couldn't focus on school.
I even saw a headline in the UK the other day, and it said a certain school has asked the female students to wear skirts below the knee because the teachers are getting distracted.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, well, what the heck? Well, if the teachers are being distracted, why are they even in the classroom?
That's worrying,
You know what I
isn't
mean?
it?
Like, yeah, and that's an actual headline, you know, and you just think, what on earth? Like,
Sorry.
I heard this thing from years ago, you know,
Yeah.
sort of hundreds of years ago, how women used to dress and they had like a skirt that was more or less like 1.5 meters circular around them, like these huge things, and they were actually to stop men from getting close to them and groping them and things like that.
But then you're getting to the point
there's
of
a
like
lot
the Victorian times where they put stockings on tables so that you couldn't see the legs. Seriously, yeah. I mean, if you're going to get excited by table legs, you've got bigger problems, haven't you? Bozafos de Brun said Mr. Sensible needs to post some twerking videos to keep him subbed or her subbed. Yeah, well, you need to check my other channel for that.
Yeah, Mr. S. There's probably a few women out there that wished you had an OnlyFans.
Oh man,
I think we've all got our fans.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, we are laughing, but it's really not a joking matter.
Yeah, and I think there's a problem in the mindset of people because many people don't see it as a problem when parents teach their boys, oh yeah, that's what boys do. You're in puberty, that's normal. But to women or girls in puberty, you say, hey, you have to get dressed more modestly because we don't know what happens because boys will be boys. No, boys won't be boys if you teach them how to treat other humans. Tusk said it here in the chat a few seconds ago. The problem is that they think saying you're so sexy, show more is a compliment.
Yeah.
And I think there's an underlying issue in all of this, and I think I can just get angry as much as I want that would change anything, and that's why I thought, hey, I maybe can do a video on that, why I think that's not good, and why men could understand that, hey, there's a different way in talking to women, and you can make compliments and all of that to strangers. There is a way that is appropriate.
Right. So, sorry, you're saying you can make compliments?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. We were at someone's wedding. This is just one that just sprung into my mind. Just you said that someone's wedding a few years back, and there was this. I was with Mrs. S. We were just talking, and there's a few other people outside. It was shortly after the service, and there was this lady talking to this bloke. I have no idea. Her partner, her husband, just a friend. I don't know. But I was talking to Mrs. S. I said, isn't her hair really nice? Because it really did look fantastic. And so, do you know what I'm going to tell her? And I walked over and I said, excuse me, I'm not being funny. I just want to say, I think your hair is absolutely gorgeous. It was a wonderful, beautiful style. And she looked at me and said, oh, thank you. I smiled and walked away. That was all it was, because it was stunning. And I thought and hoped that she'd think, do you know what, that's nice. I don't particularly know anything about that guy. I don't even like the look of him. I don't find him attractive. But he said a nice thing, and that makes me feel good. That's what I'm hoping. Have I gone dead again?
Yeah.
No.
No. No. There is a compliment, like you say. You can do that. There shouldn't be a confusion between it, though. There is such a snidiness. I was going to mention a minute ago that what's it called, an incel or something? Like, what's this whole movement at the minute? And I don't know. I just think,
yes, that's blokes, isn't it?
Yeah,
having nothing at all to do with women or something. Is it? I don't know the details.
I think they say that all the alpha men are taking away the women, so basically there's no women left for them.
Okay.
But that's quite a sad thing, obviously. There's someone out there for everyone, is what I think. But
so is it?
And it's internet bred.
So again, I don't want to tar with a brush. Are we talking about people who pretty much stay locked in their bedroom playing computer games, and if a girl smiled at them, they'd run away? Are we talking about people like that? Too scared to speak to people?
I mean, it's more of a... Yeah, I mean, it's got to that point. Yeah, they feel like they can't talk to women, and the kind of the masculine men are taking everything away, and I don't. It's to me, it's just a sad outlook on life, if you know what I mean. But I think those type of men are the people that they do end up getting angry. They become women haters.
Right. Someone's just said incel, you know what I mean? Involuntary celibate.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But really, I mean, is there such thing as involuntary celibate? If you know what I mean. That's just crazy. But
well, I've met people, this one guy in particular I'm thinking of. He's a really, really nice guy. He genuinely is. He's kind, he's nice, he's friendly. He's older than I am, and I'm pretty sure that he's never had a girlfriend. Because, I don't wish to be rude to him, but I would suspect that most people would not find him. I mean, there's always going to be someone, I suppose, but most people would not find him physically attractive. He's got interests that perhaps they wouldn't share. He's probably a bit Dungeons and Dragons and a bit nerdy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but he's pretty much, to my knowledge, been on his own. And I wouldn't be. I mean, using the term celibate, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a virgin. And I don't. I'm not knocking him at all. No, to be honest, he's probably too gentle a person to become one of these incels, but I'm wondering if it's people like that who have got angry with the situation they find themselves in.
I could see that. I mean, no one really wants to admit that oneself is the problem, that they never had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
There are many people that just get angry on the outside. I mean, that's the basic difference in many, for example, mental health problems and how the mind works in women and men. Women, most of the time, again, I generalize here, but it's most of the time women direct the anger and the problem searching to themselves, and men go outside. That's why women tend to get more depressed and, for example, BPD. And men who have BPD, these are the men that go out and pick fights with everybody in bars, because they tend to direct this anger not to themselves but on the outside world. I think there could be the reason why there are so many women haters and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, men and women are so different, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? Like we are
at times.
Obviously we literally couldn't survive without each other as well. But the differences, obviously, a lot of them are maybe evolutionary, I suppose. And like, obviously, sometimes I think modern society has maybe gone quicker than we've evolved, because like the people that are pushing tech and everything upon us, their sort of brain capacities are kind of higher than like a lot of the general population, if you know what I mean. Like people below average intelligence, but they've got access to such crazy information, and like they can misinterpret it so easily, and if you know what I mean. So sometimes I do blame tech and like just the modern world. Honestly think like, the Western world has certain problems that we've caused ourselves, I think. And if you look in other parts of the world, they probably don't even have those problems. You know what I mean?
Excuse me. But then, of course, in some areas of the world, and I'm not actually commenting directly on Islam, but in certain places, they take things like you were talking about dressing modestly, Jessica, to beyond what you may call modest, to way beyond, to the point with full burqas and so on. It's. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, the answer is everyone should be able to wear what they want, really.
Absolutely. That's why I yesterday filmed a video about a woman called The Transformed Wife on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. And she's a hardcore Mormon. She is a proponent. Women should ask their husbands what to wear. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote because men would have voted for Trump. So that is her reasoning why women shouldn't be allowed to vote, and women shouldn't have any rights in her mind, basically. And she is basically the personification of what I am fighting against. kind of.
Mm.
And
but then-
I suppose like someone like that. Sorry, buddy.
No, it's all right. I was going to say it's very grey, and I know couples who are in very traditional setups, families. Take my aunt and uncle, actually both sadly deceased now. He would never lift a finger around the home. Okay, that was his wife's job, and his wife did all the cooking and cleaning, and that is exactly what she wanted to do. Now, the reason I'm saying is when I first took Mrs. S to Hungary, and she met them and the rest of my family, we were staying with them, and I said, "Look, you're going to find it very odd. It's very different than here. They won't expect me to do anything. In fact, far from it, she will get upset if I try to help. Honestly, this is true. She'll get upset if I try to help. On the other hand, they will expect you to."
yeah,
It was really to alert her to this, because I didn't want her to think that I'm thinking, yippee, that's how it should be. Now, when we went there, the first couple days, I deliberately didn't even offer to help, and she was happy because she honestly, I'm not lying, she wanted to look after me. She wanted to spoil her nephew. Okay. But after a couple of days, I insisted on helping, washing up or drying up or whatever, and she sort of let me do that. It was the only way I could help. But like me and Mrs. S were sat outside in the garden, she'd come out and call her, come in. Oh, what's this? You're going to show me something? No, I want you to help me peel the veg. Oh, dear. It was just, no, in that situation, that's how they'd been brought up. That's what he believed, and that's what she believed. So I don't think that was wrong for them.
Yeah.
Now, if I came along,
It's a strange one, isn't
but
it?
if I came along to you, Jessica, let's say you visited and we said, look, you need to do the cooking because you're a woman, that would be wrong.
totally. And it's all about consent everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole world should be based on that. If a woman says, no, I want to be. I mean, my boyfriend and I, when we going to have children at some point, I have it in my mind to be a stay-at-home mom. But not because I am the woman and I have to, but because I want to.
Yeah.
And I told to my boyfriend, we talked about that and said, hey, we think about that, because he always now makes the joke, if I get YouTube famous and earn a lot of money, he will stay home.
Well, I've got 3 girls, and Mrs. S had been working, but when we had the first, she gave up work. It made it financially tough for us, but she wanted to be a stay-at-home mum. So because she was doing that and I was working, then basically just about all the sort of household stuff fell on her. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mum. Now, when we came to number 3, at that time, I had been made... That's it. I'm just trying to think back the right order. I'd just been made redundant, and I was also becoming slightly depressed, and decided at that time that I couldn't cope with going to work. So she looked for a job, and I became a stay-at-home dad. So for my youngest daughter, until she was about 7, I was a stay-at-home dad. I actually really enjoyed it, and I used to go along to mothers and toddlers and. I nearly said my name. Mothers and Toddlers and Mr. Sensible. I was the only guy there. Oh, it was great. It was great. They used to tease me, and it was good fun. But I really enjoyed it. And I have absolutely no problem with someone being a stay-at-home dad. I saw someone in the chat, Tusk says that his dad was, as I was saying about my aunt and uncle, the kitchen was his domain, dishes included, and nobody else was allowed to do anything in there. Well, there you go. And absolutely nothing wrong with that either. If
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you
sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. And if all agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, if all agree.
It's sort of cultural, and then over with the modern world. Do you know what I mean?
Well, me and Mrs. S tease each other.
Cut out.
Yeah, sorry, we're having some sound issues. Me and Mrs. S tease each other, and we talk about pink jobs and blue jobs. But I must admit, so I do, and it's not a case of us thinking that is the way it should be done or anything like that. It's just the way things are worked out. I'm quite hands-on. I tend to do the DIY and stuff like that. She did have a go, bless her. I came home from work one day. She said, I put that picture up in the downstairs loo. Oh, did you? How did you do that? Thinking you don't even know where the hammer and nails are. And she said, I bought some sticky pads. I thought, oh no. Okay, that's nice. Next morning it had fallen off because it'd taken the paint off the wall. Bless her. So that's all right. That's all right. I tease her about that and she teases me. Yeah, there we go. I see,
only
Tom.
a few years back where people would sort of wait to see what sex the baby was going to be. So, we're either going to paint the room pink or blue. And, the grandma would knit over a pink or a blue cardigan or a yellow one because it was neutral, just in case. And, and you just think, but, that is, I think it is progression of humanity, if you know what I mean. Like, it's,
absolutely.
I wonder what it will be like in say, 100 years' time when, not being funny, the people that have these real hardcore beliefs, they will no longer be with us. And it's about how we bring up the children, isn't it? If you know what I mean. And how much we let people of the past influence what we teach our children and what we pass on from our grandparents to our children. And if you know what I mean, because, even say my dad, I wouldn't, he's definitely not a racist, but he still uses certain words that are not acceptable today in today's world, if you know what I mean. And I'll be embarrassed if he says them. And I've corrected him and things, but I mean, he's 73.
Yeah.
And he
I know what you're
the
saying.
Language of the day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there's situations where we might be in a shop or something, and I'm like, Dad,
you can't say that. Yeah.
Like, you can't say that. Like, and, but yeah, I mean, what will the problems be in 50 years? I don't know. I mean, things are getting better, I think. Obviously, you must be aware, obviously, with what's happening in the UK at the minute, Mr. S, with that Sarah Everard.
Yes.
That sort of murder, and that's really ignited a big debate at the minute, I think. Obviously, was it you that mentioned it earlier? But there was even obviously a member of Parliament, or it got mentioned, or as a joke, that men should have a 6 p.m. curfew, and and all of this sort of stuff. And
I mean, that I think was just silly.
That is ridiculous. I think it was said as a joke. I think.
Well, that's what I heard said, but I read what she said, and it didn't seem to be. It was a particularly stupid thing to say. Yeah. Anyway, I think that one's been and gone. I mean, that was what. I mean, it's just so nonsensical that it was Lady so-and-so in the House of Commons said that basically that the solution would be for all men to be curfewed by 6 p.m, which is a stupid thing to say, in order to reduce discrimination. And that's the most discriminatory thing you could possibly say. I half caught a thing on the radio today, and they were talking, probably following up to that situation, Seek, talking about when women are in an uncomfortable situation. If you notice someone in the street and they're in an uncomfortable, do you intervene?
Yes.
I remember when I was about 17 or 18, walking back from a pub with a mate of mine, and there was this. Well, they were probably early 20s. This bloke and this woman arguing in the street, and he was sort of pushing her backwards against the wall. It's no worse than that. He wasn't beating her or anything, but he was being very threatening. And I just said, "Oi, leave her alone." I got a kicking for my trouble.
Really?
But to be fair, this guy he was a lot bigger than me. He gave me a couple of kicks, and I had to run off. But a few minutes later, the woman came walking along by herself and thanked me, which was nice. I wasn't expecting that, but it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, you put like a spanner in the works, didn't you? If you know what I mean. And
maybe,
sort of upset the situation.
I didn't stay there long enough to find out, Seek. But it's a very.
I've actually had a similar situation, but then the actual woman turned on me and was like, "Don't you get involved in me and my boyfriend's argument?" And I was like, "Okay, like, do you know what I mean?" Like, so, It is so difficult, isn't it? But you
Well,
did
then
the right thing.
perhaps
I
they
know you
shouldn't be
took a
having
kicking
these
for
big
it, but-
arguments in the street then.
Yeah, and I also think I would rather go one time too many into one of those fights on the streets that someone, or maybe even the woman, says, "Hey, what are you doing? F off," rather than just saying, "Oh, it will be probably fine," and go on,
Yeah.
and something happens there. So
Yeah.
I would rather take the first one, because I've had that too. I've with a friend, kind of witnessed a big fight where he literally punched her and choked her, and my friend went in there, punched him, he fell down, and she attacked him basically for getting into the fight,
Yeah.
and he was really choking her. I mean, I think it's the right thing to go in there, even with a bit more force than maybe necessary, but that was genuinely dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is it. Everyone has to be careful about these things because you don't know how the person's going to react. I mean, in some ways, what we were talking about earlier on about you having advantages and disadvantages, Jessica. In some ways, if it was a guy, let's say the woman was happy for someone to intervene, if you sort of stood up to a bloke, a 6'6" bloke, and said, "Oi, leave her alone," he's probably more likely to sort of shut up or back off when a lady says it to him than another guy, because he'd find it less threatening and more embarrassing. I worked with a lady who used to be a prison officer. She was a little dot of a thing. She was about 5'6", this petite little blonde girl. And I mean, say girl, I don't mean that diminutively, but she was only about 20, and she had spent time working in a prison. And I said to her, "How on earth did you deal with those prisoners?" And then I said, "But then perhaps it was an advantage." She said, "Oh yeah, they wouldn't dare hit me." She said they wouldn't dare hit me. They couldn't be seen to be hitting a woman. So she used that to her advantage and would tell them off and send them here, there, everywhere. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's an advantage
Yeah.
in the prison system, because violence against children and women
Yes.
is the worst you can do in this kind of setting.
Yep.
I mean, it's good that they at least have, in that case, kind of
They have
morality.
certain morals, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, it's
some of them, they have their prison codes.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like how they'll attack a convicted paedophile, or like
Sex
someone's
offenders in
murdered
one
a
sort,
little
yeah.
girl or something, and it sounds strange, but sometimes you kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of get that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still wrong, but you can get it. It's like saying, look, we're bad, but those guys are unacceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah, I think
condoning
it's
it, of
because
course, but
they think if most of the crimes have to do in some kind of way with power against another human being, and it's at least nice to know that they say power is okay, but not against people who don't have a chance against you, for example. I mean, I remember when there was the school shooting at my neighbor's school when I was younger, and people afterwards said that those people can't get into jail afterwards, because when they had a crime against women, they would be treated as the bad P word, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens here. So anyone with certain crimes ends up in or isolated from the general prison population.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it stands for, but it's used as an insult now, nonce, and it actually is an acronym for something. I'm sure some will remember, but I think it basically means this person needs to be kept away from everyone else. NONCE, and then that became a nickname, and now a term of abuse for people.
Well, that gets thrown around the flat Earth.
Yes,
flat
I
Earth
know
is
it
calling
does.
debunkers, doesn't it? That's just ridiculous.
I'm going to do a quick Google to find out what it stands for.
I actually didn't know about it, but I mean, they wouldn't use those kind of insults against me, so another advantage.
Oh yeah, I mean, say Conspiracy Cats has had it. I think Mr. S has as well. And we all have, to be honest. Like, oh well, literally any in they think whatever they think is the worst insult they can give,
Yeah.
they will
Yeah.
give. If you know what I mean. Which obviously a nonce is a terrible thing, so that's why they say it. But I can't understand why they do the whole like, oh, you're a transsexual, or and like thinking that even that's like a direct insult, and oh, you're a woman or you're a man. Like, have you ever been asked if you're actually a woman, Mr. Sensible? Because I've actually had that one.
I haven't been asked, but I've had someone say, "Oh, I think we should do a transvestigation."
Yeah.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
God's sake.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
In 2021, that this is still an insult. It's
Yeah. I mean, because I just don't get. I mean, there's so many things like that. I suppose I'm naive. I just don't get it. It's like racism. Okay, that person's black. So what? What difference does that make? If you don't look at your arms and leaving aside your nose, if you just look forward, you can't see what colour you are, and it's exactly the same for everyone else. You only know because you can stick it in front of you, look down or whatever. There is no difference at all. And if, for whatever reason, that you find, I don't know, homosexuals or transsexuals or transfer, if you find them so distasteful, then just don't have anything to do with anyone who you think is or is one. You don't need to abuse them. Let them live their life. Leave them to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually don't see why the sexual preferences of another human being could matter so much that someone dislikes another person for what they like in bed. Because homosexuality is basically only that.
And
I mean,
and the other
there
thing
are
is,
people who say, I only like brunette people. Is that something that another person would say, oh my God, how could you?
absolutely. You may prefer, well, we'll talk about women just because, but you may prefer taller women, shorter women. Some guys prefer big women, blondes, brunettes, whatever. And you're right, you don't really think twice about that. But I mean, the best argument I ever heard is, let's say, Jessica, let's say, just for the sake of argument, Seek Truth has just come out and said that he's got. Oh, maybe you are, I don't know, but he's just come out and said he's got a boyfriend. Okay, and you're thoroughly disgusted about that, and I'm standing up for Seek. I'd ask you, okay, Jessica, you said you got a boyfriend, yeah? So when did you sit down and decide that you preferred guys to women? When did you decide that? Can you tell us, what age did you sit there and think, do you know what, I think I prefer guys rather? You don't. And it's exactly the same for people who are homosexual. They didn't sit down and decide, do you know what, I'm gonna decide to prefer men. No, that's just the way they are. It's just who they are. There's nothing righter or wronger about it.
I've seen a meme kind of in our German realm about it, where someone said, oh, you think homosexuality isn't something natural? Tell that to your peacemaker in your chest.
Yes.
Because that's not natural either. I mean, not either. Homosexuality is so natural. I mean, there's so many gay animals.
Yes,
and
there
they
is
don't sit down and decide. I had a gay dog when I was younger. Our dog, he wanted just to play with the girls. And when he found a boy, oh my God. And my mom talked to the vet and he said, yeah, he's gay. That's it.
I had 2 lesbian rabbits.
And that's basically giraffes.
My channel is now discussing lesbian rabbits. I started off about being on step 1 on my mission to the moon, and now we're on step 17, homosexual rabbits.
Yeah, but it
Thanks,
is true.
thanks, Seek. Yeah, no, that's right. And I'm quite happy
I mean-
for conversation to drift like this. Is nice, thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, giraffes, I think I read that giraffes are to 60% homosexual, and they just meet up with the other sex to mate, and then they go with their partners. It's
Really?
the norm. Yeah, that's the norm.
Well, that is
There are those
interesting.
things. And
Well,
how is it possible that humans sit there and say, no, it's a choice?
In
Yeah.
like the
How?
Roman times, I think like the men, like they were having
Yes.
like mass orgies, like men sleeping with men,
Yeah.
women, and like they'd probably have like 50, 80 people in the room, just kind of, obviously
Getting
it's
it
not,
on,
not
doing their
safe
stuff.
sex.
Adding it on, yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously not recommended these days, but yeah, at the time, like I think no, I'm not going to go there.
Gary.
Yeah.
Gary's just
Yeah.
said, hi, Seek Truth, hiya. Seek Truth gives a whole new meaning to thumper. Oh, dear. And someone asked, who's
I like
the
it.
lady? I like her accent. That's Jessica 10-2. 10 to 2. Jessie 10
And
to 2.
the accent is German.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And she doesn't have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I have to cut that out and use in my videos. Hey, welcome to my channel. And she doesn't have an OnlyFans. I think that could be a cool intro.
That could.
Yeah, I don't know what the sort of swinging back round to that. I don't know what the answer is, Jesse, because it must be if it happened just once or twice and you deal with it, that's it. But and we all know that is going to happen again and again and again. It must.
The
be
worst
very
things are
tiring.
the PP pictures. And yes, that happens.
Oh, sent to you.
Yeah. Quite often. That's why I deleted Snapchat.
Right. Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
wondering.
Snapchat
I
is a
don't know
weird
how
one
it would
as well.
work if you replied to one of those, just sort of saying, "Oh, how disappointing that is," or something like that to embarrass them.
Oh no, I had that at some point that I just responded with, "Oh, I've seen bigger ones,"
Yeah.
and those things. I mean, there was a time when my bigger sister, I, and our best friends, we were all single on the internet, dating apps. We had a group where we kind of played memory with screenshots of those pictures, where we sent one in and one of the other girls was, oh, hey, look at that. I had the same one. Because it was so frequent. And we always made screenshots and sent it in our group. And we played, like memory with it because there were so many.
Well, I've just had a super chat
Oh,
from Judy
hell
Bassett.
no.
€7 for Arnold. So I've woken him up for that, but he's not too happy. I got a little bit of...
It looks a bit angry.
Yeah.
That's Grumpy Cat too.
I'll put him back in the director's seat. Thank you very much for that, Judy. Yeah, just in case you weren't aware, Judy, he's got himself injured. He jumped off something high, I think, and he's bruised his hip, and so he's walking very gingerly. So, yeah. Sorry, Seek, you were just saying?
No, I just said you reminded me of Dr. Evil then. In your spinning chair with your cat.
I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. Blofeld, yeah. Yeah, he's not happy. He's wagging his tail now, which is really rare. I think he's in a little bit of pain. If he doesn't get better soon, he's going to see the vet, but we'll see. He's all right. He's my boy, he is.
They're tough old things, aren't they, animals? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're strong buggers.
Absolutely.
Is it me, or is Mr. Sensible almost in black and white? Well, Chris, I don't know. I haven't adjusted the colouring. The actual video that went out tonight, I look quite orange. But again, I haven't adjusted the colouring. But I'm slightly colourblind, so I don't tinker with it because I'm just as liable to make myself day-glow green without realising it. Don't know. Nice Blofeld. Yes. I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. What's that? Fred Bailey says, I have a folder of comedy vegetables for that scenario. I don't even want to know what you're talking about in your comedy vegetables.
Oh.
Oh, Doranku says, a Bond villain died today or yesterday. Maybe there will be a vacancy. Practice your evil laugh some more.
Oh, that is good.
Well, I shall practice, Dora. Thank you. Thank you. I'm almost in black and white. I think it's the background is making it look like that.
Maybe it's because of the pandemic. No one is going outside anymore.
Yeah, could be.
I am almost in black and white. I think also.
Oh dear. Sorry, I don't want you to dox yourself at all, Jessica, or discuss anything about that you don't want to. But just in general, if you're happy saying, what sort of area of Germany did you say? I think you said a county or whatever, but
Yeah, in Swabia.
So whereabouts is that in Germany? North, south?
It's in the south, next to Bavaria.
Okay. Is that sort of anywhere near Black Forest area?
Yeah, the Black Forest is in most parts, I think, in Swabia and Bavaria.
Oh, beautiful. Because I went to when I was in Scouts, Pfadfinder. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And we went to Titisee.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it?
Titisee,
Lake Titisee, that sort of area.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Black Forest, absolutely beautiful country, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
I loved it. I've been to Germany several times, adored it every time, genuinely did. Often went to Köln. Loved the country. And I've driven through on my way to Hungary several times as well. Do like a whiz down the Autobahn.
Yeah, oh, cool, that'd be fun.
Last time I went to Germany was to see my eldest daughter. She was doing some charity work. I forget the name of the place. And we all went over. And that was in my previous car, which was a Mercedes. It's an old Mercedes. It looked very nice, but it was an old Mercedes. And so we dropped Mrs. S off and my youngest because they wanted to spend the day doing something that wasn't of interest to me and my middle daughter. So we thought we'd go off the day. And we thought, you know what, we really fancied a McDonald's. And we drove and drove and drove and came to some town, couldn't find a McDonald's anywhere. And we actually had a Subway, which was very nice. And then about 50 metres down the road, we went past a bloody McDonald's. We drove a total of over 100 miles to get this McDonald's that we'd never had. Never mind.
Oh, God. I think you just drove in the wrong direction because as
they're
I
everywhere.
think we have many of them. I mean, I lived or grew up in a pretty small town. We didn't have a Burger King in our city, but we had a McDonald's.
Okay. We're apparently going to get some Wendy's in the UK now. Oh, there might be one or two, but some more of them. Yeah, never tried one of those. And I'm just going to give a shout out for Milan Ondrak, who just said, I've watched loads of your vids, but this is my first time watching your live stream. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Milan, and thank you very much for watching my videos. Make sure you hit that like button. Thank you. The other thing was one of our drives through Germany to Hungary. We were going along, and my kids are always moaning at me, saying I drive too slowly. I don't drive fast. I drive at a reasonable speed, but a lot of people drive stupid speeds. So we're driving through Germany, and I said, well, this car, can go at a reasonable speed. Oh, bet it can't. I got to just under 125, and they were screaming, slow down. But it's just as well they did, because I started to feel nervous because it started to feel very light on the steering. It was an E-Class Mercedes E220, and at 125 miles an hour, it still had quite a bit more pedal I could have pushed. But I was I was happy to ease it off then. But they never called me a slow driver again.
Yeah, I mean, we have in Germany, we have on our Autobahn where there's no speed limit. There are sections where you can drive as fast as you can when there's not much traffic.
Yeah.
So I was once with my stepdad in Mercedes, the SL65,
Yeah.
was it? And it had over, I think, over 600 PS.
Yeah.
And we were driving around 300. And then there was too much traffic, 300
Like kilometers.
kilometers per hour.
What's that in real money? I'm going to have to convert that.
Is that about
I
180?
think it's about 1.7 million duck powers.
So it was 300 kilometres an hour, was it?
Yeah.
So that's 186. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
And
that's brown trouser
I mean, it
time.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom gets always sick when it's faster than 180.
I get sick over 70. Honestly, like 72 miles an hour, my bowels start shifting. I'm like,
But
bloody,
I mean, in Germany, that's part of our culture. The cars, I mean, we have BMW, we have Mercedes-Benz, we have Volkswagen, we have so many, basically.
But also on those autobahns, you've got different rules.
Yeah.
If someone's coming behind you, you have to move out the way, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas here, you're supposed to drive in the outermost lane, and you can only move into the inner lanes to overtake, and then you're supposed to move back. And if you're overtaking and you come up behind someone, you have to wait. So if you're trying to do 186 and you come up behind someone, it would be up to you. Well, not you should be doing that speed. It'd be up to you to slow down and until they pulled over, without flashing them to bully them out the way. So it's a different mindset. And of course, if everyone's used to driving like that, and they have the experience because they're practiced driving like that, it would be safe. We had family, or my daughter's in-laws came over for her wedding last January, and we live in a rural area, little twisty country roads. But in the UK, most of those still have national speed limits, so 70 mile an hour limit, or is it 60 on the country? I'm not sure.
60, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't doing that. Around here, I go around 45 or 50, and his wife was scared in the car because there's no white lines down the middle. It's only just wide enough for it's only just wide enough for cars coming each way, and of course you get tractors. But these are roads I drive day in, day out. And of course I also know the roads. I know that round here there's a farm entrance or whatever. So, but yeah, it scared the living daylights out of her because, of course, over in the States most of the roads are big, wide, very straight. No such thing as a corner.
Oh yeah, here. I mean, I even
that.
worry sometimes just about those sort of country roads, like you say, they're barely wide enough sometimes to get one car through, aren't they? And every now and again you'll have like a passing gap or something. But if you've got two people coming at each other, wow, I mean, I even worry about cyclists as well. You get on a tight, sharp left-hand corner, and I always. My dad always used to say, like, when you take those type of corners, you actually need to go out wider.
Yep. Go almost onto the other side, because even if something's coming on that side, you'll see it sooner.
They'll see you, and you'll see them,
But round here, it's quite possible that well, plenty of times you'll pass people on horses, but it's also quite possible there's one place nearby where they're often herding cows out onto the road, down the road a few hundred metres and into another field. No.
I mean, we have in Germany that, for example, Mercedes-Benz, there are certain cars, when they sell them to you, you have to have a driving training. You have to have lessons, or they won't hand you out the car, because they have so much power that you just look at the gas pedal and are at 150 miles per hour. They won't give you the car unless you take the lessons with a professional driver.
That's good.
Good night, Jezza. And I saw a couple of other people leaving the stream. I can't see who it was now. Thank you for joining us. And hello, Irish Dublin girl. Good evening to you. About 2 years ago, Mrs. S and that, they bought me a driving experience in an aerial Atom. That's the one that's basically a motor in a cage, and that's about it. But I wasn't interested in just going as fast as possible, because I wouldn't be able to do that driving even on a racetrack. So I exchanged it for a Lamborghini. Oh, I loved it. Absolutely adored it. The sound of it. I always remember what Jeremy Clarkson said about a car. So driving around, I didn't race really fast, so I did overtake someone, and no one overtook me. But as we came up to this straight, he said, "Go on, put your foot down, put your foot down, put it down." You could hear money exploding out the back. Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And to me, just the experience of driving a car like that, which, quite frankly, now I'm having to invest a lot in my moon trip. Quite frankly, I'll never be able to afford one. That meant a lot to me. I loved it. I do like driving different vehicles. I used to be a Class 1 lorry driver as well, so I drove articulated lorries. I like real driving, which is why I've got a Land Rover. Talk about hard work. I do have another. My current car is another old Mercedes. It's another E220, because I think they are the most stunning cars to look at and to drive. And actually, they're really underrated. If you're looking for, I've got to recommend this to people, if you're looking for a nice, big, comfortable car, you can't really go wrong with a Mercedes, and you'll be surprised at how cheap an old one is, because people get so scared off, think it'd be hideously expensive. No. That's a huge car, and I'm getting just over 50 to the gallon. But
I can't talk much about that. I don't have a driver's license.
Oh dear. Well, that was a waste having you on my stream, wasn't it?
Yeah, I never needed one.
Do you think? Good night, Judy.
Good night. I live in a city. There's good public ways to go somewhere. And with the certain medication I get, opioids, I am at the moment not allowed to drive a car either way. So it's probably for the better that I don't have a driver's license. If you have seen my first Flatlander video, you'll know why I won't have a driver's license.
So it won't. Well, you're crashing and whatever. No, I just always liked driving. I remember we had some friends who used to have a Volkswagen camper van when I was a kid, and we used to go down and see them. They used to live on the south coast. We'd go out to the beach or whatever, have a picnic, all those sort of things. And I quite often used to sit in the driving seat when we were parked up, not to pretend, but just to sit there and look at it all. And I decided to start saving for my first car when I was about 10 years old. And I did. I started saving for it. I just always wanted to drive. I just love it. Which is why when I've gone to Hungary, I've driven there about 6 times. Fantastic trip across Europe.
Yeah. I've only been driving myself for about 7 years. Excuse me. Which I was about 28 when I passed. So it's quite late, really, I suppose, if you know what I mean. But I love driving myself. Like, it's been 7 years, and every time I get in the car, I feel like I'm a new driver still.
There's nothing like that feeling when you pass your test and the first time you drive off somewhere in the car by yourself. That felt so odd. Now Pinion's just super chatted. Thank you. Now 50 Swedish krona, equally shiny and highly polished as the earlier ones. I noticed. Thank you. Seek truth, speak truth. Ist ein großartiger Sänger. Is that how you say it? I'm taking advantage of you here, Jessica.
Yeah,
yay!
Pretty much.
Good. I don't know what it means. He's a big fat singer.
No? Not really. A great singer.
Oh, is it? It's singer then, is it?
Yeah, Sänger is German for singer, and großartig is amazing, great, and that.
I remember my very first German lesson at school. We go through it. Ich heiße Eric, and I can't remember all the other bits. And then you meet his dad, Peter or whatever. I said, ist mein Vater. He said Vater. But I actually loved German. I loved doing German at school. I was okay. I mean, I haven't really had the practice. I was okay with it at school. I did enjoy it. Other languages I'm hopeless at. Well,
I mean, I was in school in English better at school than in German. German's grammar is so confusing. Even for Germans, I have this now with cats. He learns German and I help him with it a little bit. And at times when he asks me, hey, why is this and how is that, that I have to Google it myself because I have no idea.
Yeah, but isn't English worse for that? I thought English is one of the worst languages behind things like Finnish and Hungarian.
No, I really don't think so. I mean, you have just one article. You have the. We have der, die,
das.
and das.
Yeah.
And there's no sense behind it. How people decided what is male and female.
No,
Yeah,
but
like
then
I couldn't get that with French.
No, I couldn't either.
Yeah.
But we do have some of that in English. We would talk about the ship, but then we'd say, she looks beautiful. You know, and you'd say, she's a beautiful car. She's a gorgeous car.
Yeah.
She
yeah,
goes
we
like
do.
stink. So we do use that, but we'd still say the car. You're right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it in itself, I don't know the correct English terms, but I think it's more like objectifying things, if you know what I mean. Like she runs lovely, or talking about your car or something like that, don't you?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Even women over here will say she. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for that.
she
Yes,
runs lovely,
I don't think it's anything.
You know.
It's nothing. Sort of going back to sexual demeaning or anything like that. But yeah, ships and things like that, you would tend to say she's a well-built machine.
We have it,
Yeah.
for example, a bus is in German male. It's der Bus.
Yeah.
It's male. And what I think is pretty interesting, in most other languages, the sun is female or feminine, and the moon is masculine, right?
I never thought about it because here
Yeah.
both of them are just the sun, the moon.
In Germany, it's the other way around. In Germany, it's die Sonne, the female is the sun, and the moon is the masculine.
Do you think
And
they could ever
in-
say, look, stuff that's silly. We'll just call them all of them der or D, and just
Yeah,
get rid of all that stupid feminine
I think that
masculine
would
stuff.
be way better because of the whole gender thing, which is a good thing that there are people to say, hey, there are some certain problems. But in German, for example, human is male, which I don't understand. Why is human not neutral?
See, yeah, I was going to say
Or
human.
girl?
Human should be neutral, as is mankind. And originally it was. You think of Star Trek, where no man has gone before. That wasn't talking about men, because they actually had women on the Enterprise, of course. But it was just man, as in short
Yeah.
for mankind, being
Yeah.
the species and neutral.
Yeah.
But then
in
now that's
German,
become a
that's-
problem.
I've
For
said,
example-
say, you know, man has come so far, or something like that, but you don't actually mean just men, do you? If you know what I mean, it's the humankind. Like you say, it's like kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm giving a frown to Irish Dublin girl who's just super chatted $10 US, who I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that's some Gaelic. Is it Gaelic Irish? Before I have tried it, let's see. Oh yeah, is that Gaelic Irish? I bet it is.
I just understand the last part. Haha.
Yes. Oh, I'm waiting for. I will try it, Irish, because you have super chatted it. But I just want to know if it's Gaelic, and I'd want an honest marks out of 10 for my efforts. Come on, I'm dying to find out, because I don't think I've ever. The chat's running a bit slow. I don't think I've ever seen Gaelic written. Yes, Gaelic. Thank you, Irish. You'll have to
I've
give me a
never seen
second to read it and sort of get it in my head. Because it's like Welsh. You've chucked a few.
Yeah.
You've chucked a few consonants in there without relevant vowels in between. So some of that, like the bit, the BNHF, the BNF. How BHF? Okay. Tasul agamgo. I'm going to sound more Welsh. Tasul agamgo befwyl dola gomaith. Marks out of 10, please, Irish. But please be honest. I'm dying to know. Oh, and actually, Michael. Yeah, lol. Yeah, laugh it up, fuzzball. Now give me marks
You
out
had
of 10.
a lol out of 10.
Where was it? I just saw. Oh, Michael Hoy said, well, let's talk about mankind or whatever. Be like the U.S. Constitution. All men are created equal.
Yeah, in Germany,
Oh
we have,
yeah,
for
so
example,
Irish is learning it, but very slow. All right, so you're only one page ahead of me in the book, aren't you? 8 out of 10, really?
I always remember my ex-girlfriend saying like most of history was written by men, if you know what I mean.
Look at the Bible.
Well, yeah. You know,
Pretty
I'm not
clear,
saying
yeah.
it as in a good way, like, oh, you know, the men were the ones that wrote it. I mean, as in, you know, where's the women's view, or, you know, of kind of what did happen along the ways of history, and you know, there's all sorts. You know, they say the winners write history, and yeah, you know, it's strange because I always feel like, say, in England especially, where we had female queens, you know, like women that actually were the head of state, and that was way before Parliament was more important.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this the other day, like, why didn't they do more about it to make sure there was more equality and fairness out there? And I don't know, like, it's just a random, strange thought, to be honest. But I know the modern day queen doesn't really have a say over the way the country is run. But
it's basically she rubber stamps things, doesn't she? And she's expected to actually always give her consent.
Yeah, but I honestly don't think she has much of a.
No,
it's a token thing, I think, now more than anything, isn't it? Like a nod to history and our past in a way. But
so I'm going to jump in there a second. Irish Dublin has translated that. Thank you, Irish, saying that what that phrase that I butchered means is, I hope your day is good. I hope your day is good too, Irish. About the longest German sentence I remember, Jessica, is Entschuldigen Sie bitte, wie komme ich am besten zum Bahnhof? Yeah.
I mean, that was perfect.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
I learnt that when I was about 13 years old. I'm still waiting for the time when I actually have to use it. Especially when they turn around very impressed and I remember a few words. Geradeaus is straight. It's straight on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they tell me to go straight on, left at the lights or whatever, and I'll be nodding, thinking, "What the hell did he just say?" I'll have to go back and just to ask someone the best way to the railway station. Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
The last that I can remember from French lesson is "Je ne sais pas," which means I don't know, because that is very useful.
Well, as they say in French, that's life.
Yeah.
Now, does anyone get where that came from? You win if you get that where that came from. It was a quote from a TV.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Oh. It's on the tip of my tongue as well. Someone in the chat is going to get there.
Or as they say in France, that's life.
Chat, save us.
Oh, no.
I want someone to get that one. That is going back a bit. I'll tell you, whenever we've thrown in things like that, there's always someone who's got it.
I'm thinking of that guy, that one when he's like, "Good morning."
No.
No?
Yeah, you're thinking about hello. Good morning.
Oh yeah.
The British the British spy as a French policeman. I always remember one of those when he's in the pissoir, which gets bombed, and they pull him out the wreckage, and he says, "Oh well, no piss for the wocked." But I'm still waiting. Yeah, that's right, Gary. It wasn't LOLO.
Monty Python.
No, it wasn't
That's
Monty
the chap.
Python. That was a. Yeah, I hope I'm not disappointed. And it's not
Some
that.
like it hot.
No, Some Like It Hot, as in the film.
Oh no, I'm just calling out things now. Is it a sitcom, like a British sitcom?
It's not a sitcom. It was a comedy series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose sitcom's not the right word, really.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, but it definitely wasn't a sitcom.
Only Fools and Horses.
No, that is a sitcom. I think I'll give it. No, it was. I tell you what, Mike71 says Blackadder. No, it wasn't Blackadder, but one of the people in Blackadder was on the programme. Getting closer.
Oh, bloody.
No, not Hitchhiker's Guide, Carrie. Can we have the quote again? Right, the fuller quote is C'est la vie. Or as they say in France, that's life. I think I might have finally got you lot. Not Faulty Towers, not It Ain't Half Hot Mum, not a Carry On film.
What?
Yeah.
Steptoe and Son.
Not the 9 o'clock news. The mighty one has got it. Not the 9 o'clock news. Yes. They were interviewing a French person, and Rowan Atkinson was giving the translation into English. So this lady's talking in French, and he's translating stupid translations in English. This lady says in French, as we say in France, c'est la vie. Sorry, as we say in France, that's life. And he translates it as they say in France, c'est la vie. So, yeah, got it. Yeah. So, yeah, mighty one. Yeah. You got
Irish Demon made a similar joke on his video about me and the Attila Hildmann drama a few weeks ago, where he said, Jesse is from Deutschland, that's French for Germany. And I thought that was so obvious. And he sent me a screenshot of someone, no, French for Germany is Almania.
Yes.
So someone really didn't pick up on the joke.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
dear.
brilliant.
Yeah, there's always one.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
Well,
the language is so strange, isn't it?
I think it's
Hey,
pretty
actually-
cool.
yeah, we're talking about language, and we've just been talking about comedy things. Jesse, did you ever see, because I believe it was shown in Germany, that TV series, Allo Allo?
Yeah.
Because that,
I know it. I didn't see it myself. I know
Oh.
people who've seen it.
because
I
obviously-
know a few English movies and comedians, for example, but
Yeah, but you see, obviously it was a British program. It was set in France with the French Resistance and a couple of English spies, and it was all play on, or most of it was on play on language. So all the English spoke, tittle pip, absolutely perfect Queen's English had been, and the French spoke with outrageous French accents. And the Germans spoke like this, So there was a lot of that. And of course, when the English bloke was a spy, pretending to talk French, he spoke. It was all in English. He spoke English with a terrible French accent because he couldn't speak French properly. But I understand they translated the whole lot to show in Germany. So I wondered how they did it. Did they just have to basically use the basic idea and rewrite a lot of it, so the Germans had, particularly perfect German accents, and I don't know.
I don't know how it was in that particular thing, but I noticed it in many different shows and movies and stuff, because my boyfriend doesn't really speak English.
Yeah.
So at times when I start a movie in English, and we watch it together, then in German I notice that when there's, for example, an American setup and there is a British person, they just let the American people speak normal German
Yes.
and have a kind of posh way of
For the English
saying
one.
things for the English ones,
Yeah,
which
it's funny,
I think
isn't it?
is so hilarious. But at times it's weird because at times there is
Yeah.
the British role in that movie is not a posh person. I don't know.
And they
At
still
times he could be a
speak-
drug
like
addict,
some
and
gangster
he
or something
talks,
about to rob
and
somewhere.
he talks a little bit posh, and that doesn't fit the role then. But there's no different way in a distinction between American and English.
Yeah.
So
That's quite
it's-
interesting,
the
isn't it?
dubbing is weird than in Germany. Yeah.
Demon Orb says the fallen Madonna with the big boobies. That was the one with the Gatto from the Chateau and the candle with the handle, wasn't it? I remember that one. Oh, I love that program. I took my mum to see Hello Hello live, and Gordon Kay and most of the nearly all the cast were there live on stage. It's absolutely brilliant. All play on language and that fantastic stuff.
I have to interrupt for a second. D Rabbits just said he saw that comment on Irish Demon's channel with Almania, and he was wrong because he said Almania, but it's spelled Almania.
Demon Orb,
brilliant.
actually, Demon Orb in the chat, he'd done a great video of the view out of his window, and he actually managed to catch maybe a flat planet. So
Wow.
Demon Orb, yeah.
Wow.
Do you have ways of playing someone else's video, Mr. S? Is that something you could? Because Demon Orb, mate, honestly, it's so funny. It's only like 2 minutes long or something like that. I think.
Sorry, Demon
It's-
Orb's
it's
in the
great.
chat, is he?
He is, mate. Yeah.
Well,
He's
Demon Orb, are you all right if we show this video? I'm just going to try and find it while he's answering. What's the video called? Do you know?
It's his second from last video
Right now, I'm not finding his channel.
in a plane.
Can you drop his channel into the chat?
Yeah, he's a mod. He's a moderator.
Oh, right.
Demon
Oh, yeah.
Orb, mate, if you're
Demon, if you're happy, I would say no, or drop the link to the video in the chat.
I think that's brilliant.
Bob Nodell's Gyroscope made a comment. I like what you've done there, Bob. So I'll say thank you. I won't read your comment out. Oh, he's got the link. Okay, right. So let's see how I can get on with this. Okay, because I'll have to set it up on the fly. Oh.
And I think the video is worth a sub as well. He's put there, worth a sub.
Right, so
definitely.
I'm going to tinker with this sort of in the background, see if I can get this to work, okay?
I think it was a little play on the sort of simulation thing. Jesse, what was that thing you were saying? Like, the game, is that on Steam or something like that?
No, it's on their website. It's flatlander.de, if I think right. Let me just pull that.
That does look good. Worth looking into.
Okay.
It seems strange at the minute how there's a lot of games going around, aren't there? Off Flat Earth, like the Flat Earth Simulator, and suddenly people have realised they can make money out of it. You know?
Well, there's a surprise.
But Flatlander is from German debunkers. I have to say it's free, and it's from debunkers to mock flat earthers.
Oh, that all sounds good.
Okay.
Right, I got Demon's video. So you, Jesse, and Seek, you won't be able to hear it, I'm afraid. I do need to speak with Planner Walk because I was on his stream 2 nights ago, and he was able to play videos. I've got my virtual cam playing in the Discord, so you can see me, so you'll see the video. But he managed to get the sound to come through as well. I'm not quite sure how. I need to catch up with that. But I'll play his video now. And as you said, if it's this one, it's only 17 seconds long. Is that the one?
Oh, so, yeah, it must be.
Earth's a globe seen from a plane.
Yes, that's the one, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's give it.
I knew it was short, but
Okay, that is short. Right. Here we go then. Oh, I forgot to actually play it. That would help, wouldn't it? Here we go.
Well, I hope the engines don't run out of air. Water's level. Spirit level. Earth's the globe, I'm sure of it. Bollocks.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Well done, Demon. I like that. I like that.
I'm actually waiting for a flat earther to put that in a video as like a flat earth proof. Like we've finally got the footage we need, guys. Like
You should have submitted that to my 1 minute debunk. I know it's less than 1 minute, but that would have been perfect. Brilliant. Thank you, Demon. So yeah, please everyone check out Demon's channel. Check out Demon's channel. Yeah.
I think he works with aeroplanes as well. Colon. Like, so I sent that to Colon earlier, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like you know, I know Demon Orb, and they're sort of aeroplane guys together as well."
Hold on.
So I think that's how we got that fuselage.
Yeah, I was just thinking, he did submit to my 1 minute thing. He had a cut up aircraft there, didn't he? He was showing us the little hole in the windows. I forgot that.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so if you haven't, check out Demon's channel. Definitely. Oh, I just seen we've got Sarcastic Barman and Mohammed Shafiq in the house. Hi, guys. Hope you're doing all right.
Yeah,
you've missed a lot. We started talking about my imminent trip to the moon. We went on talking about sexual harassment. We talked about my pronunciation of Gaelic phrase. Sorry, what was that?
Lesbian rabbits.
Lesbian rabbits. Yes. We sort of covered the full Monty. No, I didn't do the full Monty. No, not on this stream.
Actually, I've got another off the lesbian rabbits if you guys want it.
No.
It's quite a strange one. It's about like memory, like how we remember things. Because I have told this story for years on how my rabbit, we took it to the vets and it was going to get its vaccination for myxomatosis. It went to jump off and the vet grabbed it and broke its back.
Oh.
Yeah. And, you know, kind of accidentally, but I was like 9 years old and like heard this like crack. And he kind of was just like, we might need to keep him in overnight and see. And then like the next day they basically rang us up and were like, look, unfortunately your rabbit, its back got broken. It tried to jump off the table and this and that. We're going to have to put it down. And I have told this story over and over again. And my sister, about a month ago, heard me talking about this story. And she was like, Craig, that never, ever happened. And I was like, what? And she went, no, that was my rabbit. And it didn't break its back. It died of another reason. And I was like, what? Like, I honestly couldn't believe it. And I'd told this story from about 8 years old as like, you know,
just something that was stuck in your head.
Yeah, you know, and it is like there is something where sometimes we remember things totally differently to what they actually were. I'm not saying it happens to maybe everybody, but especially in our childhood, we'll have memories that actually are nowhere near what was reality at the time, if you know what I mean. And sometimes it takes another family member that was there around the time to kind of explain it to you, if you know what I mean. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, it wasn't even my rabbit. She was like, no, Craig, it was my rabbit. You know, I was like, what the hell? Like, I tried to steal your pain to like use it for my.
Well, I see Demon's got at least a couple subs out of that, so well done, pal. Well done.
But that happened to me also. There are many different occasions where I sat with my mom and said, okay, Mom, I have to ask you now. What was happening back then? This happened, that happened, and this. And she was like, oh my God, oh no. And she kind of freaked out and said, oh my God, did you tell that to anyone? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she said, okay, who? Call them, tell them that it's not true. Because I don't know why, but I had this vivid memory. And at times, yeah, I've seen it here, Mike 71, the Mandela effect. My big sister had the same memory of certain
This is how
events
fast
that
YouTube
actually
is.
never happened.
Strange, isn't it?
It's just, the Mandela effect. I mean, I know there's no crazy woo going on and things are getting changed behind our backs, but it's our brains, isn't it? And like the way a massive population remembers something as one way, even though it never was like that, but there's like things and triggers that happen that just kind of spreads amongst us. 10, 15 years later, you watch something back and everyone, that's not how I remember it,
I've as only time a memory can be kind of flit or correct of events is immediately after something happened. The more you think about it or you repeat this memory, every time something gets changed, every time you remember a certain event, it changes the event in your mind.
Yeah, I often look back to my marriage in 1992, and I do remember for sure that I shut up. But I actually do remember that I married Kylie Minogue. So I think this Mandela effect is real because Mrs. S ain't Kylie Minogue.
I identify as Kylie Minogue's husband.
And no one is allowed to tell you otherwise.
No.
What do you mean you weren't even born then?
I'm born 1993. I swear.
What? Oh, I was 6.
6.
Yeah,
you could have been a page boy.
If I get a time machine, mate, I'll go back and be one.
No. Get a time machine, go back and say, Mr. S, don't. Just don't. Oh, dear.
I can tell you're a happily married man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we're both very happy, but not necessarily at the same time. I do remember. I'm not going to do it now, but I do remember my best man speech. It was deliberately long and waffling, telling it. What do you call it? A shaggy dog story sort of thing. And I started off saying about the first date me and Mrs. S went on. What had happened is there was a whole group of us, and on a Friday night, and I said, "Who wants to do something on Saturday? Tomorrow morning?" And she said, or someone said, well, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I don't know, going down to the south coast, perhaps going over to the Isle of Wight." And she said, I didn't really know her. She said, yeah, I'll do that. I said, right, you're on. I'll pick you up at 7. I jumped in quick before anyone else said anything. So off we went, and we got down to the south coast. We're going to go over on the hovercraft. Now, parking down at the south coast is really, really very expensive, especially if it's all day. But I found this really cheap car park, so I was well chuffed. And off we go on a hovercraft, wander around the Isle of Wight, end up on a beach, sitting there quite happily chatting away. Then found out it was actually a private beach we shouldn't have been on, but never mind. Get the hovercraft back. This story I've stretched over 10 minutes. Get the hovercraft, go back to collect the car, and find I got a parking ticket because, the ticket was very cheap. Only I forgot to pay for it, so I ended up with a bloody parking ticket. There we go. Yeah, Chris says, I was sure you were going to say, I remember being happy. Yes. As I said, but not at the same time. Where does that come from? We used to be happy, didn't we, dear? Yes, but not at the same time. Where did that come from? I must admit, I pinch all my best lines from old comedy programs.
On the buses?
No.
It's going to be obviously a...
We used to be happy, dear. Yes, but not at the same time.
One Foot in the Grave?
No. Oh, I love that. There's some brilliant British comedy, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. There's not really any more, but like a few years back, definitely.
Yeah, Fools and Horses was hilarious, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. I actually didn't like that for years. It wasn't until I don't know, maybe 27, 28. I kind of rewatched it, and I think I was then old enough to kind of get what was going on, if you know what I mean. I was like adult enough to understand it.
Yeah.
But I remember watching it when I was like 18, 19. I was like, oh, these old fuddy-duddies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to find that funny. But yeah, like now, I understand and look at it and think, you know, there's nothing much funnier than that.
Well, Christopher Bell and Had's got it right. Faulty Towers, Basil saying to Sybil, we used to be happy, didn't we, dear? And she says, yes, but not at the same time. Or was it the other way round?
12 episodes.
Could be the other way. Yeah, that was fabulous, wasn't it? Absolutely fabulous.
Honestly, I love that. Like Manuel.
Had's looks like corrected me. We used to laugh, and she said yes, but not at the same time. Well,
but again, like we keep. Oh, sorry. That was that a well to end the story?
No. Go on.
No, I was going to say it sort of seems to be coming back to this male and female discrimination. Because even Faulty Towers was kind of mentioned. Has it been banned in the UK? I heard someone mentioned it was.
I think that is like, too cult for anything like that to be banned. Oh, wasn't there something about the Major? Made some comments that were probably considered racist now.
Yeah. But which
then,
they are, you know, they probably are.
But it was of the time. It was like Dad's Army with Jones, the butcher, and he would talk about his time in the Boer War, and he would talk about the fuzzy wuzzes. And I'm yeah, I mean...
It's difficult.
It is difficult, because at the time, he wasn't being nasty or it was of its time. And there's things, I'm sure, that there's comments that you, I, and Jessica here are making, or Jessie, sorry. Is it Jessie, do you prefer?
Oh, yeah, I prefer Jessie because my mom always
called
me Jessica when I did something wrong.
Yep,
So
okay.
Every time you call me Jessica, I just tear down my head and think, oh God, what did I do?
I will remember that then. But we're talking about all this various things tonight, and if you watch this in 20 or 30 years' time, someone might be thinking, oh my goodness, we can't show this. How could people, you know, that's terrible that they say this or that or whatever. It was of its time, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think there should be a context for everything. There is absolutely a context for very dark humor, but this dark humor you should only tell then to different people in a certain way. I can tell that to my friends. We're sitting at home and we're making stupid jokes. That is fine. But for example, telling those dark jokes on the internet in a video, that is offensive. And I think there's also a bit of a dissonance of people who see videos or live streams of people that say stupid stuff, because for those people, they're sitting at home on their computer most of the time alone.
Yeah.
They don't have the feeling that, okay, I tell this to potentially thousands of people. But there is a context. I don't think that there should be that every single joke should be now called horribly offensive, and no one should ever say that again. I mean, as an insult, for example, the N-word, no way. But for certain jokes and topics, there should be a platform. If you don't like that, fine, then go away.
I agree. I'm thinking back to a comedian who back in even in the 80s, it was risque, but it was okay. It was on national TV. Jim Davison. Now, I'm sure his stuff would not be shown. It was outwardly racist. Talking about a black guy and calling him chalky all the time. I'm sure that would not be allowed. But something like Jones in Dad's Army, and I'm being corrected, it wasn't the Boer War, it was Sudan. I think that was different. There was no malice or deliberate making fun of someone because they were black. It was
I think we should still be able to have racial jokes, if you know what I mean. There should be a
Yeah.
difference between racism and a racial joke. You know, I've got black friends and I have racial jokes with them, if you know what I mean. Like, but because we're that comfortable with each other, and
Yeah.
that should be the way it should be. I think, you know, where there's that line of like, oh, this is so taboo, and we can't say this, we can't say that, but. I
Isn't
don't know. I
it
think
racist to
sometimes
make fun of everyone, to make jokes about everyone except a person because of their skin color? When I make joke about me, about you, about bald people, about people who have hair everywhere on their body, when I make jokes about men and women and children and people with disabilities, but not with people who have a certain skin color, because they have that skin color. When you are a comedian and your show is making fun of everyone, sure, when the butt of the joke is always people of color, that is not okay.
No.
But
yeah,
if you make jokes on everyone, that
I
should
think
be
the perfect person there is Ricky Gervais. To me, like he's one of the best like comedians out there, where he will, you know, there's kind of nothing not in the line of fire, if you know what I mean. But he does do so much himself in raising awareness for,
Mhm.
you know, there is a difference between being a racist and being a comedian. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
you should be able to have these jokes and things, but it is how you word them. But yeah. 20-minute
Daniel,
countdown begins now. Okay.
yeah,
Sorry?
I think Daniel Sloss is a comedian, I think from Scotland, and he talks oftentimes about insults and the stereotypes that comedians aren't allowed to say stuff anymore because people think they are those kind of persons in their shows. I mean, they are actors. They write things they thought about. Maybe something happened and they dramatize it for the sake of comedy. But people think that is true. That this is their selves. And I think he talks a little bit about that people see insults as that kind of weird thing, that when I call you Mr. Sensible, oh, you're such a woman, I don't say that a woman is a bad thing. An insult is based on I'm taking the identity you have, and that is the insult. I'm calling you something that you are not. Not that the thing I call you is inherently bad. And I think there are some people that kind of word it in a good way, how to maybe think of comedy and some insults, that not everything is inherently bad and totally offensive, and no one should ever talk about that.
I mean, I think that any comedy relies on having someone or something as the butt of the joke. It almost by definition, other than situation comedy, but even then that's often laughing at the person in the situation. But it's going to be making fun of somebody. I mean, I make fun of flat earthers, but then I've had a lot of people make fun of me, and I laugh at it as well. Do you know what I mean? You have to be able to, you know, if you're going to pick and laugh at people, you have to accept that they're going to do the same to you.
Yeah.
Someone's pointing out, we talked about it before on this stream, Blazing Saddles, which at face value is blatantly racist until you stop and think and realise that the people who are actually getting laughed at are the racists. I don't know if you've ever seen that film, Jessica. I don't know if you've seen that
I
film.
wasn't.
I don't know if you've seen the film, Jessie. Have you? Blazing Saddles?
I don't think so.
Well, I'd highly recommend it. In the first 2 minutes, you're going to think, oh my goodness, this is terrible. But stick with it, and you'll realise how very, very funny, how very, very clever it is, and how the idiots, and they're shown to be idiots, left, right and centre, are the racists. I think it's brilliant. But could they make a film like that now? they'd have to think very, very carefully, I'm sure.
And that's the sad thing, that even when you make a film that uses racism, for example, to show how stupid racists are, even that could be considered offensive. And that is a story, oftentimes a made up story. These are actors, they want to show something. And oftentimes it gets declared bad, even though in another situation where it's, for example, sexism, there it's okay. And there should be, I don't know how to say it in English, there should be a place for certain movies, comedians. If you think that's offensive, totally agree, that's fine, don't watch it. But I don't think there should be other people telling, hey, when you go there, that makes you a racist. That is basically cancel culture. I don't like it. So no one should be allowed to attend. And I think there is the problem, that people always think my opinion is the only valid one. I think we're all guilty of it, me included.
Oh, definitely.
John Eagles just mentioned that Dr. Seuss is getting targeted right now. Well, I actually went out my way to have to find out about that, Fred. I don't think it's all the Dr. Seuss books. There was some very, very dated cartoons he did, single images. And if you just look at the image, you'd think racist, because, for instance, the bad guys were very, very Chinese looking or whatever. But it was all wartime propaganda. I mean, let's face it, it was demonising the other side, which happened all over. It wasn't like his children's books. They were obviously very Dr. Seuss characters, the way they were drawn with the sort of pointy nose and things like that, the animals and so on. You could see straight away it's Dr. Seuss, but it was wartime propaganda images. As Mike 71 saying, I think it's only six of them. I think the newspapers have blown it out of all proportion. Historically, if you wanted to look at stuff about propaganda, it's a valid thing to look at. But I don't think it was stuff that would have been in children's books anyway. Yeah.
We have that discussion at the moment in Germany, because we have a very famous story. I think it's from Netherlands. I think the author was called Astrid Lindgren.
Oh, I've heard of her.
And she
Is that
invented
Pippi
the whole
Longstockings woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in one of the Pippi Longstockings stories, she is with the, in German, N-word king, and the pictures are very racial stereotype, and it's in children's books, and there is a big discussion about why it should be changed. I think it should be changed. There could be a less offensive title for the king, and there could be a less offensive drawing. You don't have to change the story.
But
And
we were covering exactly this a week or two back, with
okay.
the I'm not saying, but with the older Tom and Jerry cartoons, there was a maid in the house who used to get scared of Jerry as a mouse. And she was a black... You never saw her other than her legs, but she was quite obviously a black lady, and she was talking with an exaggerated sort of southern black voice. Yeah.
And I think, especially when it's for kids, it's absolutely valid to change that. If you show it to kids today, if my children at some points are in kindergarten and read, oh, it's the N-word king, I don't want my children to think that that's a word they can use in everyday life.
Sorry, what is that word? The what king?
N-word.
Inward.
Word. One word, two words, and many words make a sentence.
Yeah.
The N-word.
Oh, I see. I thought you said in. I-N. Inward. I see. Got you.
And I don't think that should be in a children's book.
No.
And I don't see why there is, because people think, oh, it's culture. No, if your culture needs racism, your culture sucks.
Yeah.
Point blank.
I
I
mean,
mean,
And-
it
because
comes to
I
line.
follow
Back
I
then
follow
it
like,
was
rap music.
yes. Yeah.
Sorry, mate, and like obviously that word gets thrown around. I don't know if they use it on the radio or whether it gets blanked out. I can't say now for certain either way. But you definitely, have access as children to songs
But
with that word and many
some
others.
of that is them
like,
owning the word, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
which I obviously totally agree with.
Mm.
But is there a? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there a point where the kind of the way the world seems to be like more has been made out of that word than maybe it should have been. And I'm not saying this from even black people, if you know what I mean. It's mainly actually, I think, the media. And I don't know, maybe I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but
I think.
Multi Tom Tom, end the show. This is boring.
Shut
That's
up.
fine. Good night, Tom Tom. Bye.
Hi, Tom.
Oh, just before you go, Tom Tom, your new blues track. Don't call us, we'll call you. If you haven't heard it, you really need to hear it. Oh, Mighty One says, my wife is black, I'm white. We laugh at each other all the time and the silly things that our cultures do differently. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. I knew a guy who was married to an Indian lady, and that was brilliant when someone called him out for being a racist. Yeah, I mean, you're saying about the title.
Imagine the world in say 50 years, 100 years, when nobody has grown up. There will be so much multiculturalism that I don't know. I think hopefully, like, a racist would just stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I don't know. That's just what I hope for. But
well,
yeah, absolutely.
I presume that in a however many years, we'll all be the nice, pretty much even shade of light brown across the board. And then what will we do? Have you ever come across a Dr. Seuss book? I've forgotten what it's called. It's the one about the sneetches on the beaches. No? There's some sort of creatures, sneetches, and there's two types of sneetches. There's one type have got a star on their belly, and one type haven't. And the ones with stars really look down on the ones without stars, and so it's an anti-racism thing, because they invent this machine to put stars on. So the sneetches without stars put stars on their bellies. There's no difference. So the ones who originally had stars invent a machine to take stars off their bellies, and stars are so old hat or whatever. And it's just showing how ridiculous it is, because they're all the blooming same. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a German
Star-bellied.
movie
Thank you,
about racism and stuff. It's called Die Welle. In English, it's The Wave. I think the English translation is the same. And it's basically a school project where the teacher wants to teach them that racism is stupid. And says, okay, for this week, we act like you people are in it. We have this kind of way to greet each other. And that escalates so bad that kind of the whole city is involved, and some groups think they're superior against other people that were friends beforehand. And it's a very nice movie to teach the ways how fast it can get, that not only racism, that the skin color is just another excuse for I'm better than you. And we actually watched it in school. We had to, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that if in one generation everyone ended up exactly the same colour, with exactly the same sort of general facial shape and so on, people will find something else to pick on each other about, whatever it is.
That's aliens, isn't it? Aliens are all one race, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? One skin colour. You don't get races between the aliens, do you?
Well, once again,
We
you
don't
should watch
know.
our stream.
Yeah, I know.
Star Trek, the original TV series is way.
Oh, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
remember?
I need to watch more Star Trek.
Yeah, there was an episode where two aliens come on. And they're sort of their skin colour is split straight down the middle, black and white, and one is
good.
trying to kill the other one, and but at the end we find out. Well, can't you see? He's black on the right-hand side. I'm black on the left-hand side. And that was all it was. That was the only difference between... And you don't really realise that that's the...
So they're trying to actually make... Are they trying to make sort of actual points? You know, they're not just making sci-fi. They're actually trying to make points during it? You know what I mean? Like there's a
but it wasn't done in that tacky way of so many TV series where... Oh, we've all learnt something today, and let's be friends. It wasn't like that, but you know, all the way through, I can't remember all the story, but all the way through, it was just an ordinary story, and one guy was chasing the other. You didn't know why. Maybe he was a murderer being hunted down. Who knows? But it turned out at the end, we found out it's just because his black-white was the other way round. Just showing you how stupid racism really is. So that was quite good because it was a very unracist show. Because, of course, Captain Kirk. White guy, kissed Lieutenant Uhura in an episode. First interracial kiss on TV.
Yeah, I've actually seen a video or an article about that.
So sorry, Mighty One. Chat's just a bit behind. Just said, I'm surprised Mr. Sense wasn't brought up the original Star Trek episode about racism with the black and white aliens running around, the crew spend the entire time going, "What the fuck?" Yeah, I just did. Thanks, Mighty One. Wow, spooky.
That's the very original episode, is it?
No, well, it's one episode from the original series. You know, with James T. Kirk. Yeah.
I need to see that. So I saw a meme the other day, and there was like someone going like, "Oh yeah, I watched Lord of the Rings, like all of the extended editions," and then the next person was like, "Oh well, I've seen all the Star Wars," and then the next person was like, "I've seen all of Star Trek." You know what I mean? And like, it was just like, wow, yeah, like that was like 700 something episodes, and
Sulu and Chekhov, yes, they were in there as well. So it wasn't just good old American boys, was it? They had a Russian there, for crying out loud. And we're talking in the middle of the Cold War, so how about that for being forward-looking? Oh, it's a me, Mario Ree. Good night to you. And they're saying good night to you, Jesse, and Seek as well.
it's a me
Thank
and
you so
Mario.
much. Bye, Mario.
Bye, mate.
Well, I think... Yeah, it's just coming up on midnight, so I think we'll call that a wrap. Guys, listen, it's been absolutely wonderful. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's great having you pop in here. I'll have to give updates.
It was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. I'll have to give updates on my astronaut training.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Please.
I don't know how far I'm going to get.
Well, you know he loves creativity. You know,
exactly.
So maybe
Exactly.
show it. You know, you've got to be showing your creativity during this journey.
I know he's a
think if he's
billionaire, but
gone-
I've dropped him a link.
Yes. Have you got him on LinkedIn?
No. but I have given him a link to my It's Only Fans page. Yeah, so thank you very much for coming in, for chatting about this, that and everything. Loved it.
That's cool. I actually,
Yeah, me
earlier
too.
on, I set up a stream earlier on to start at 9, and then like a few people were like, "Dude, Mr. S is going live at 9," and I was just like, I'm not going to go live when Mr. S does. I'll watch his. And then when I did, you were like, "You going to jump on?" And I was like, "Yes, mate, of course." So that was legendary.
Well,
I do apologise because I accidentally didn't delete the stream, and I changed it to
That's
midnight.
all right.
Yeah, and then I deleted it, but it's getting a little late, guys. So tomorrow at 9, if Mr. S or anyone else isn't streaming, I just thought, why not? Why not? The invite was there, and it's always a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Seek. I mean, you've been on the channel
Amazing.
briefly a couple times, and we kept saying, "Look, you've got to come on for for a proper stream." And
Yeah,
now you
proper
have,
chat.
and it's been really, really nice talking to you. It really has. I've got a
thank
feel for what you like from seeing you around and about, but now I feel I'm getting to know you a lot more, and it's been great. And thank you to you too, Jesse, for joining us.
Shame about that OnlyFans, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, listen, we talked about some pretty serious stuff. And
Yeah, we did.
It's been really interesting, and I think you've been really open about it, Jesse.
Yeah, because I think it's an important topic, and nothing will change if no one ever talks about it. So I think and it was very fun. I had just the feeling that it would be okay to kind of bring it up. It just went there kind of, and I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
You're very, very, very welcome, and pop in any time if I'm streaming. Okay, guys. Okay, lovely. Right, well,
Cheers, buddy.
everyone, what I'll do, guys, I'll just chuck you into the live waiting room, and I'll pop in there in just a minute to say goodnight to you. Okay. So thank you, Jesse, and thank you, Seek.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye. Everybody, really, really enjoyed it, as ever. I appreciate all the people who've commented, my patrons, the super chats, the members. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will keep you all updated with the Dear Moon project, however far I get. And at least I have entered, so I stand a chance. And I'm that little bit closer. And I feel happy being part of something, even if only a little part. I'll be able to tell my grandchildren that I at least got a certain way through an astronaut program. Pretty cool. I've got the 1 Minute Debunk compilation out on Thursday, where you can see them all back to back without me in between waffling. So if you haven't seen that, it's worth checking out. There's some great stuff there, and there'll be links to all of those channels. Thank you very much. Take care and stay sensible.